Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all doing well. This is the top four of the land tournament, land battles, I should say. And the first best of three of the day is going to be Rindless facing off against Hanadins on the top side, and then the dreaded Lord Professor Pone awaits on the bottom, making it to the top four. Very good stuff. And it's going to be facing the winner of Ebenstar and Vicious Satsuma. How's everyone doing? It's about game time. Just going to get a couple things set up here, and we should be good to go from there. I think everything looks good. Perfect. So, let's go ahead and jump over, take a look at the website, see what is cracking in terms of the leaderboards and the bracket and all that sort of good stuff, and we'll progress from there. So, here we are. Yes. And this is today's tournament. So, this is the Land Battle Tournament. And we had quite a few signups today. Definitely some very, very good matches. Here on our top side, we do have Rindless facing off against Hanadins. And a pretty crazy tale of the tape. Rindless actually defeated Bobman with a 2-1, and then defeated Rigson, who's another very strong player and Haku gamer here. But really crazy upset in the first round of the tournament, actually. We had Bobman defeat Voidlaws 2-1. So we've seen Voidlaws absolutely tearing through these tournaments, right? Just getting to the grand finals pretty much every single time. But Bobman did come in with the steel chair today and had a 2-1 victory over Void. So very, very crazy back and forth stuff. Now for Hanadins, he just had a narrow victory over Dactyr. Apparently their game 3 was a Slanesh mirror match, which is pretty wild. So certainly just kind of rolling the dice there on that one. And he, some nice victories across the board. On the bottom side, Professor Pone with a 2-1 victory over Valkrom, a 2-0 victory over Hugo, and then also a 2-0 over Sirona in the first round. Professor Pone truly living up to the legend and mythos. And on the bottom, we have our last best of three on the round of 8, which is taking place. Of course, it's going to be happening after this series, but it's Evenstar against Vicious Satsuma. So those two gentlemen are playing their best of 3 right now, and we'll see who's going to be winning from that. So that is more or less the jams. And now moving back to the old lobbies here. We'll get this game started. I need to go ahead and update the plates here because I do have the wrong one, so my apologies. But it looks like the first match is going to be Khorne versus Ogre Kingdoms. Quite interesting. Ogre Kingdoms are certainly favored in that matchup, but we have seen Khorne defeat them. So I think it'll probably be like Spawns and Halberds, maybe some sort of a greater demon. That's usually kind of what you see in that realm. For the greater good indeed, Pone. For the greater good. So the map's going to be the Flats of Kislev. This is a pretty standard tournament map. This is, I would say, the Oakenhammer for Warhammer 3. You know how Oakenhammer was like always the first map in tournaments in Warhammer 2? Well, this is pretty much in the same ballpark. It's like, it is the Oakenhammer. It is the auto pick here. Yeah, the statistics, you can go to the front page of the website and see the leaderboard. Leaderboard probably will be switching today. I don't know if anybody will be dethroning Voidlaws from the #1 spot today, but even still, somebody will be coming close for sure. Because tournament wins are the most important thing, and then the tiebreaker on our leaderboard on the website is based on the other wins that you have, so he's got a lot. I mean, I think Voidlaws already has like 10 wins or something like that. Doing really good. Thank you for asking. Yes, the Chungus Kingdoms are here. What anti-large does Khorne have? Khorne has good anti-large. They have the Chaos Warriors of Khorne with Halberds, which are excellent. And they also have the Bloodthirster, which is okay. Like the basic one. He's a little bit overpriced at 2,300, but can do the job, you know, situationally speaking. But like ogres are mostly lightly armored, and Khorne Dogs and Furies, they have a lot of things that are decent against all of those aforementioned units there. So Khorne's got plenty of answers to deal with large threats, I think. Like in their greater demons, like the Scarbrand as well as the Exalted Bloodthirster, they're both pretty darn strong against those units. So you two can start whenever you're ready. If you are listening to the stream, Rindless and Hanadins, no need to wait for me. I will let them know in chat. Start whenever you are both ready. So this is the third day of tournaments. Today is a land battle tournament, so the battles tend to be a little bit more fast, a little bit more furious. Very, very different from the domination. Minotaurs against large are okay. I think Minotaurs are overpriced though. You know, you're paying 1,700 gold for this unit that probably isn't going to trade super effectively into, you know, something like Gorgers that costs like 600 gold less. Professor Pone saying he wants to retire after this, doing this well today and just like camp the top 15 of the leaderboard, which we can take a look at right now. So we'll jump on over, take a little look at the top 15 right now. So there we are, heading back up to the main page. So yeah, Voidlaws, of course, won yesterday's tournament and has 10 wins and 2 losses. So currently an 83% win rate. He did lose a match today, and he lost his match against Bobman. So currently Bobman was able to climb up a bit, if I'm not mistaken. Although maybe Bobman didn't play enough games. It's hard to say. Yeah, Bob, I think this is his first tournament with the leaderboard, so he'll eventually climb up there. Zyphos, of course, in second. Evenstar is playing against Vicious Satsuma, who's currently in the best of 3 match in the round of 8. So we'll be seeing like new folks appearing here. Hanadins, of course, has done well in domination mode, and it's only actually dropped to 1 match overall in the 2 tournaments that he's played so far. Ryanless, of course, he was saying he was very surprised to have made it this far. So I'm quite excited to see, and that's something that's really been cool about these tournaments so far. Has been seeing like all the newcomers, which is definitely really exciting stuff. And let's see if anybody made it to the round of 8 yet. No, it looks like Evenstar and Vicious Satsuma are still in the classic duel of fates on the bottom side of the bracket. Very, very cool. All right, so we're back. Players are ready. Let's get this first match started. It is going to be Rhineless on Khorne against Hanadins on the Ogre Kingdoms. Will there be an upset, or will the Chungus Kingdoms continue to dominate in this matchup using Maneater pistols? Oh my god, is that real? Is this just real life? Is this just fantasy? It is actually Greasus Goldtooth. Oh my god. The Chungus Lord has come. The fattest turd in all of Warhammer 3. He is here. I love this build though. Triple Lead Belcher. Oh, that's so cool. So just like a big ogre shooting line, which is like, if I wish more ogre builds were like this. I wouldn't like dislike watching a lot of their games if the builds were more fun like this. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious about the Greasus pick. Like, is Greasus like a secret tech against some of the bigger Khorne demons that they tend to spam? I don't know. Like, he is an anti-large beater. It's just with his 35 speed, he tends to really struggle. I mean, he's basically like Thorgrim, but just not as good because he doesn't have like the nice AoE buffs and the synergy with the Dwarven army being relatively slow as well. I love it. So for the Chungus Kingdoms, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a Greasus Goldtooth, a bunch of Noblars, Triple Lead Belcher, and Ogre Bulls. So it's basically a chaff-centric ogre front line backed up by a ton of shooting and the Butcher of the Great Maw. Dude, I can't believe Greasus is here, the big man. And now looking at the Coronate Army, it's going to be Halberd spam, very normal. Shielded Khorne Warriors, kind of a nice touch as well. Gives you a little bit of sustainability against some poke perhaps. We have Khorne Dogs on the flanks, Double Cultist, as well as the Herald of Khorne. So the Herald of Khorne definitely going to be outmatched by Greasus Chungus Tooth if they decide to go Fisticuff. So I would imagine the Herald will probably serve more of a buffing role. It's one of the few builds I've seen with Khorne that also does not use the Chaos Spawn. Chaos Spawn are just so often used against Ogres, but it would appear he wants to go wider, right? Just a lot more Warriors, a lot more armored bodies, and also bringing a big Fleshhound entourage, going with quad Fleshhounds with some Furies to defend them. Thorgrim is way better than Greasus, I think. Yeah, because Thorgrim has the Great Book of Grudges, and like it's not necessarily like a character-to-character analysis, because the thing is that Thorgrim is just more synergistic with the Dwarves playstyle. Like, Ogres tend to be more aggressive, faster, you know, more maneuverable, because they all have like 54 speed, right? But then suddenly you have this like slow potato who has 35 speed, who can't really get to the engagements. Whereas with Dwarves, everybody has to collapse on their position typically because of their range superiority and other variables like that. So Thorgrim can get the fights much easier, whereas Greasus Chungus Tooth just can't. It's very, very tough for him. So, it's going to be fun. Let us see what he can do. Original asks, Turin, when you talk about bad matchups, what kind of ratio do you mean? Ogre Kingdoms versus Khorne? I would say it's like probably a 60-40 matchup, maybe 55-45 in that ballpark, favoring the Ogre Kingdoms in land battles at least. Domination and land battles are very different, so you would have to ask me on a case-to-case basis. But I would say that Maneater pistols are just so good against these guys, and Gorgers as well, but we don't see either of them being brought. So a very off-meta army by Hanadins, either trying to be the people's champion, or he's trying to catch his opponent off guard with something that's really off-meta, which is pretty cool. Which is pretty cool for sure. So the Coronate Army is going to be advancing, while the Herald of Khorne gives a really kind of muffled speech, which I can barely understand, but you know, that's how demons roll. They're going to be nice and confusing there. Ogre Bulls are backed up by the Noblars. Noblars will certainly take the beating of the Blood God, and they will enjoy every second, I'm sure. But Lead Belchers blasting into the Chaos Warrior Halberds should be very, very effective for sure. I mean, that's going to be some big old damage to say the least. The big Fleshhound Vanguard is going to be moving through the flank here. So here comes the Hounds of Khorne, the Hounds of Hell. I guess Khorne is like the closest you can get to the traditional kind of hellscape, right? They're moving up and around, and they're moving in. Dude, I can't wait to play the Old World factions. I've been having dreams about it, you know? But man, look at the Lead Belcher DPS. Yeah, right now Ogre's moving their position. They see the big flank coming in from the Khorne Dog, so they're going to be rerouting their army a little bit to get a more square angle. But what's really good about the Khorne Dog flank like this is it's forcing the Ogres to move instead of shoot, right? But now the old Lead Belchers, which I think are the coolest unit on the roster for the Ogres, going to be ripping some fat shots. Oh, I love the reload animation too. I actually didn't notice that, where they like shove a bunch of stuff down in the pipe. Oh, that's so rad. But the Khorne halberds really getting dunked on super hard by the shooting, which is to be expected, right? You pay 3,000 plus gold in shooting, and it better at least get you 500 value in the initial engagements. Khorne Dog's looking to get around, but there is a really, really nice defensive posture here from Hanadin's. He's got Ogre Bulls, he's got Saber Tusks, so a bunch of Noblars. His front line's looking a little bit sparse, though, because he's pulling a lot of units back, and he is running a little bit danger close to the back of the map, where his units could rout off, whereas the Demons probably won't. You know, so it's a little bit dangerous for the Ogres to take a fight back there. Flesh Hounds of Khorne running back into the bushes. These ones shall be retreating as well. And the Coronate Warriors have almost made it. And now the first Ogre engagement is going to be taking place here as the Ogre Bulls and the Noblars do move in. The Halberds should trade pretty well here, even being damaged. The Ogre Bulls don't really have the best armor piercing, so yeah, these guys are definitely going to start taking some damage from those Halberds as well as those Shielded Warriors. These Halberds here, though, very, very damaged. The Ogre shooting has been incredibly effective. Huge value lead, but again, that's completely normal and pretty much always going to be happening. And the Khorne Dogs are being denied very, very well. Check that out. Like, they're just looping up and around here, going through the trees. Khorne Dogs will absolutely rip Leadbelchers to shreds. So if Hanadin's does make the mistake of allowing the Khorne player to get into the back line, that could really be changing the dynamic of this battle super quick. So one Khorne Dog unit taking a fight against these Saber Tusks here and the Ogre Bulls. A little bit unfortunate here, but there's an opening here. These Khorne Dogs could move up and through. The Coronate Infantry in the front seem to be doing pretty good. Ogre Bulls being grinded down by the Cultists as well as the Herald of Khorne. And on the other side, this fight is going to rapidly go in the favor of Khorne as well, with the Warriors and Halberds all trading really, really cost effectively. So one Khorne Dog does get back here, is able to jump on top of the Leadbelchers. Looks like the Slaughtermaster the Great Maw using some sort of magic. I saw some sort of witchcraft going down, but I didn't quite see it. Yeah, the reload animation was super cool there on those Leadbelchers for sure. But some of the Khorne Doggies do get into the back. They jump on top of the old Leadbelchers here, but a little bit of a lapse in micro, and they do stand idle, and now they're going to get sandwiched by the Ogre Bulls. Over here, we do have two Khorne Dog units. It looks like one of them is fighting the Saber Tusks to the bitter end, but they do outmaneuver the Bulls here and could find an opening in the backfield. The Leadbelchers are very much being chased back, and even though Ogres are ahead in value, all it takes is one big blunder for those bad boys to be caught. Now, the Forces of Khorne winning several of the frontline engagements, but massively behind in value because of the shooting, but that's quite normal. All it takes is one compromised position, like I said, and that can change everything. The Khorne Dogs, I feel like maybe they should have tried to take some of those flank engagements instead of juking. Maybe use like 4 Khorne Dogs to overwhelm the position with a little bit of support, like from the Horn of Khorne or something like that. I feel like all their juking, they just kind of keep getting caught, and they're not quite able to accrue the value they want. Leadbelcher is going to be setting up shot right here. A really, really good defensive micro by Hanadin's. I'm super impressed. Like 4 Khorne Dogs, he's been like really allocating his resources super effectively here. And now it's going to be shooting into the Halberds as they do approach. Khorne Halberds trading well in the front. Over here, the Cultist Goon Squad with the Herald also trading pretty effectively, but mostly against Noblars. And Greasus, no surprises, Greasus did indeed get his butt kicked. Yeah, he just got absolutely spanked by the Cultists as well as the Herald. Greasus doing Greasus things. And now he's going to be moving on his toilet seat towards the back line. While Khorne does kind of close the gap in value a little bit, some Khorne Dogs able to find a nice little rear charge here into the Leadbelchers, but the thing is, the Ogres are doing such a good job of defending their backline. It's pretty masterclass for sure. And many of these backline units are going to be taken down and punished. And we'll see. We will see. Khorne's still pushing, only down by about 1,500 value now. So it was a gap of about 2,500 at one point. But there's still a lot of Coronate infantry. However, if the Chungus Kingdoms can get their Leadbelchers back online and can use their mobility and speed to actually kite the Khorne Warriors and then shoot them with the Leadbelchers, which is pretty funny. Leadbelchers aren't super quick compared to Ogre units. They do have 52 speed or 42 speed compared to 54 on other Ogre units. It's one of the reasons why many people prefer Man-Eater pistols, right? The Man-Eater pistols have 54 speed and can kite a little bit more effectively, and their shooting is that much worse. It's actually quite good. But the biggest issue for the forces of the Ogre Kingdoms is going to be the character squad. The Herald of Khorne, the Cultists, these boys are pretty serious. Uh-oh, the Shank of Meat's getting in there. We got the big man whipping the Scepter of the Titans, and he's going to be doing battle with the Herald, and in theory, he should counter the Herald. And another Bloodletter summon. Really good patience displayed here by Brindless. That was a beautiful, beautiful patient play. A lot of people with Cultists really kind of blow their payload in the very beginning, but now we get Bloodletters of Khorne coming out, and those guys are going to be diving on the Leadbelchers and potentially tearing them up. We'll see how the micro is in that situation. Coronate infantry, though, man. Some of the Leadbelchers, I don't know how these guys got caught in melee, but they are trapped in with a bunch of Halberds, and the Khorne infantry still going well. Big Greasus, though. He's getting some work in. He heard us laughing at him. We were talking shit on Greasus the entire game, but he now rolls in here and gives the steel shank of ham to that Cultist of Khorne, beats him down, and pushes him back. Is Greasus going to be the late game carry? Perhaps he will. So Greasus moves in, now working on the other Cultists, and the Coronate Hero Squad is actually starting to lose this fight, whereas it looked like Greasus was on kind of the back foot here. 1,500 value behind is Khorne. And the Bloodletters, of course, chasing down the Leadbelchers. Really, really good control here by Hanadins as well, pulling back behind the old Bloodletters. Chaos Warriors of Khorne still trading pretty well, the basic ones. I wonder what their value is. Only like 400, but they're still pretty healthy and have a lot to give. More and more Halberds here, able to push back these Ogre Bulls, but the Leadbelcher shooting is quite healthy. We still have 14 models of 16 here. We still have 14 of 16 here, and I don't know what happened to the other one. I think the third one kind of got broken. Yeah, they're running for the hills. So 7 models right now on those Chungus boys. And yeah, all that shooting being on back online is going to be rough. And oh no, look at this, the Dismember going down on the Herald of Khorne, and he's going to be getting absolutely pounded by the Leadbelchers. And man, oh man, that boy is in danger. The Dismember play, really, really sweet. Now he's breaking. That probably is going to be the straw that breaks the Khorne Demon's back. And GG, well played. Game 1 is going to be going to Hanadins. Really nice attempt there by Rhineless. He had some really good flanking play and also had a really cool army comp. I just think the value came down to when the Hounds weren't able to get in. The Hounds were slightly kind of getting caught, not having efficient trades. I think that was a big variable. Like everything for the main Khorne army went well, but just a slightly better defensive play from Hanadins fending off the Hounds, really mitigating their value. Because normally Hounds will be so good in this matchup. I think if he had used the Hounds a little bit more aggressively, not diving in the back line, but using them to win against the Saber Tusks and the Ogre Bulls on the flanks in like a big hunting pack, I think the Khorne would have had a pretty good chance of winning there for sure. But that is going to be game 1, going to the forces of Hanadins, making ODM proud, getting another win here on the old leaderboard. And Greasus gets a victory, which is pretty crazy. Pretty crazy indeed. Next map is going to be the Wastes of Slanesh. Map is set. Good luck, have fun to these players, and they can do their picks and bans. All right, so let me see if there's any updates. All right. Perfect. So do we have a winner on the website yet for the other Even Star Vicious Satsuma match? Looks like we do not. Man, those guys must be having like a straight up like Qui-Gon Jinn, Darth Maul, Obi-Wan duel down there. So it looks like Hanadin's going to be resetting his game real quick. Dude, the Burger King won. Yeah, I know. I can't believe it. Oh, we didn't look at the Leadbelcher value. I'm sorry. I just got so excited. Leadbelcher's got like I think 1,100 to 1,200 value apiece. Maybe a little bit less on some of them. I think one of them got like 600 and the other one's got like 1,000 apiece. How good is this dude's computer to actually run the games with no issues? Dude, my computer is like 6 years old. Gonzalez. It's from like 2015, 2016. My computer is not like super powerful. I don't know why. I've had 0 problems running this game. I know so many people had a lot of problems, but I've had none. Anyways, so we are on the Wastes of Slanesh for the next map. Rhineless here will be, who's on the pick now? I don't quite remember. I think Hanadins is picking now. So we'll see what they choose. Should be quite a bit of fun. Thank you all for joining, by the way. This is a land battle tournament, so very different from Domination. This is more in the style of traditional Warhammer 2 tournaments, which I'll be doing both. So I'll be having land battle tournaments and Domination battle tournaments every week. At the very least, I'll be having one of each. So this midweek, we're going to have another land battle tournament. I don't know when. I'm thinking like Wednesday. And then on the weekend, we'll probably do another something else. I may have to be out of town. I'm not sure, but we will see. Hey, Herder, thank you for the 5. Really appreciate that. Thank you for the donation. And thank you for supporting the Total War multiplayer community. Greatly appreciate it. I don't see any message, but thank you, thank you. Yeah, I have a pretty old computer. Hey, Turin, what's weird about the notes is it says nothing about... Oh, Zinc is for sure. Lincoln, they're for sure going to get a nerf. Yeah. They'll probably just adjust the shields. Don't worry. It will. Once we get like the full notes, I bet you there will be something for Zinc in there. Don't you worry. Yeah, I have no problems, honestly, in terms of the kind of the game running smooth and all that. I got no problems. So what are the next picks going to be? I would imagine Kislev or Zinch. You know, but Cathay is actually really good in land battles. That's one of the reasons why I like land battles a lot, is because Cathay is very, very good in them. And like they're a faction that really struggles in domination mode. It's kind of tricky because like what happens if you buff Cathay like really hard in domination mode, right? And then suddenly are they just like these unholy terrors in land battles? I mean, I guess they still wouldn't be as strong. Even if you buff Cathay, like Ogres and Zinch are still really, really going to be like the 2 strongest factions probably. What's a flat land battle map? I'm testing stuff with Leadbelchers and Shields. Honestly, the flats of Kislev. Yeah, the flats of Kislev would be the proper map. Hey, Herder, I'm glad to hear you like the content. Loopy says, wanted to play today with those cursed IRL friends. Hey man, next time. We're going to have another land battle during the week. The next tournament will be land battles, and then we'll have a domination after that. So we're just going to be going kind of back and forth. Oh my god, it's a Grand Cathay mirror match! Oh, I love it. Please, for the love of the dark gods, pick different banners. Yeah. Okay, it looks like we have the Rebel faction against the Celestial Loyalists, I think is what that is. Okay, cool. So they have different banners. All right, you guys ready for a Three Kingdoms replay? We're about to basically just have Three Kingdoms here in Total War Warhammer 3. Which is pretty fun. Just grabbing some water real quick. Dude, I can't believe Greasus with the W. The big chungus. Lincoln saying Greasus encouraged you to get some Wendy's. It sounds pretty good. If you go to my YouTube channel and then go to my About section, you can actually see the specs on my computer. The only thing that's different is I think I have like a 1080. Like that's the one thing I forgot to update there. Oh yeah. When will the next Ever Chosen event be? The next Ever Chosen event will probably be, I don't know, I would say like in the next 3 to 6 months at some point. I mean, I could host it on my own, but it's something I created with Italian Spartacus, and then we pitched it to Creative Assembly, and they kind of adopted it, so we wouldn't want to do it without them, you know? It's a time for a Three Kingdoms battle, yeah. I'm hyped for this. It's actually, mirror matches, it's weird. I don't mind them as much in Warhammer 3. I think part of it is because you can pick different flags for your army, so you can, like, the mirror matches, it's easier to tell what's going on now. Like in Warhammer 2, it was horrible, because it just looks so similar, you can barely tell. Over and under on 3.5 cannons. I think we'll probably have 2 cannons, would be my guess. At least one of them will bring 2 cannons. Yeah, Greasus for sure would throw a pretty sweet victory feast, but I don't know, like, yeah, the ogre food is probably very questionable by our palates. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I have like a 1080 or something, I'm not sure. Watch out for the dreaded, yeah. Are you saying Lu Bu is coming? Oh, maybe. All right, loading in. It is time. Grand Cathay versus Grand Cathay in Game 2. Rhineless is down a game, but having a very impressive run today. So Rhineless, the gentleman who did just drop that first game as Corinth, he actually defeated Bobman, and Bobman defeated Voidlaws. So yeah, certainly quite a legacy of victories there, but we will see. Oh, okay, Prof. Pone, got it. See, I don't know the lore too much on the whole Three Kingdoms, so. Wow, Celestial Dragon crossbows. Okay, that's really cool. And triple cannon. Oh, triple cannon, baby. I'll take the over on 4 cannons. Yeah, you guys nailed it, man. Yeah, this map does have hills, but it has hills on both sides, so it's fair. Still, though, maps in Warhammer 3 just aren't the best, unfortunately. You know, like, there is going to be a little bit of a hill situation. So whoever has the better cannons here is for sure. Smart Cathay Mirror brings 4 Jazales because cannons don't remount properly. Yeah. I like that. The 4 Jazales is kind of like how Skaven play in a couple matchups too. So it is going to be the Celestial Crossbows. Obviously, they'll do some big damage. The dreaded map pool for Warhammer 3. Oh my god, when they add Warhammer 2 maps back, I'm going to be so happy. It's funny because like I was so like sad about those maps also, but at least we got some flat ones that were like fair and good for land battles, right? But this is just like, it's... Yeah, the Cathay Snipers, Professor Pone used one. I was watching him play earlier and in the tournament, and he actually used one in one game to relatively good success. He used the Crane Gunners against Kislev, I think is what it was. Yeah, and was able to get some decent value shooting the Bear Cab and things like that. Oh, that is not the lore. That is the Three Kingdoms Total War guy you like to use to beat your Lu Bu. That's right, I remember. Okay. Bring out the cannon, says Sun Tzu. Yeah, Art of War page something or other. So Rhineless is coming in with what appears to be Jade Warriors. It's going to be a triple cannon build and a bunch of peasant archers, a very cheap Lord. No, he's actually the Miao Ying player. Okay, so Miao Ying is here. And she probably has Talons of the Night. That's a really good spell against armored and those type of units. Jade Lancers as well as some of the peasant horsemen. Now for the other Cathay army. So it is double cannon against triple cannon, yeah. This is really cool. It's going to be a classic artillery duel. Definitely going to be rad. So, Grand Cannons, backed up by a bunch of Jade Warriors, and now obviously with the cheaper Lord, Hanadins has come in with a Yin Caster, which is very cost effective. Oh, Missile Mirror! Missile Mirror and the Ancestral Summon, I love it. He's going to fly over there and use Missile Mirror on one cannon and summon the Celestial Warriors on the other. Oh, that's so good. And on top of that, he does also have the Celestial Crossbowmen. So these guys are pretty good against armor. They're like Shade, sort of, but not quite as good in melee, and a little bit more armored, obviously. So you're trading a little bit of this and that. Dude, I am very excited for this. Hey, Brian, thanks for joining. Appreciate the support. And now, let us know your predictions. Who's going to win, the gray Cathay army, or is it going to be the yellow Cathay army? I got to look at the paint schemes here. Yeah, like, I feel like when I get my old world army, I'm going to be, like, looking for inspiration on all these. Cathay would probably be really easy to paint. Like, I think you would just probably, yeah. Like, if you wanted to paint a Jade army for Cathay, you probably just, like, spray paint them silver. You know, obviously get the green and then do like a green wash over the armor and then just like a brighter green here with some brown colors to contrast it. Like, I feel like that would be really, really easy to paint. How about this army? Yellow and white are really difficult colors to paint. Yeah, they have like not too much yellow though. Yeah, some of the color scheme is very, very cool. All right, so we have some weird Slanesh action going on here.
Today we face evil. Today
you hear that? Miao Ying's giving the speech? And she's like, today we face evil, as like, you know, her countrymen stand across from her. That's pretty hilarious. If this were AoE 4, then I'd bet on the one with more cannons. Yeah, that's true. So the Dragon-Blooded Lord is moving up. Both armies are marching to engage down into the valley, which I definitely like. Dude, I love the cannon fire. It's almost like we're watching like a historical game here. But the Dragon-Blooded Lord should be able to juke pretty well. Yeah, oh my god. Is that missile mirror? Oh, the dreaded missile mirror. Okay, we gotta watch this. Nothing else matters in the commentary. Did Rhineless notice this? Oh, I think he did. Oh, I think he did. What a beast. So I'm pretty sure that he noticed the missile mirror. Oh no, he didn't. At the last second it does go off. He was repositioning. See, if it had shot normally, the missile mirror would have been a lot more punishing there. Oh, he was moving his cannon, so the timing was just a little bit off by Hanadin's there, which is unfortunate. But the triple cannon's obviously doing huge damage. One unit of Jade Lancers very beat up. These Jade Warriors quite damaged as well. And I'm surprised we're not seeing the Celestial Ancestor summon back here on the two cannons. I feel like that would potentially just shut those down. So here comes the forces of Hanadin's meeting the forces of Rhineless here in the middle as the Cathay Civil War does embrace. The Peasant Archers obviously won't trade super effectively compared to the Jade Crossbows as well as the Celestial Dragon Crossbows. Going to be pretty interesting to see how that exchange goes. Dragon-Blooded Lord kind of just Netflix and chilling here. We do have a little bit of a flank engagement going down. So some Peasant Horsemen, oh, trying to weave in there. Oh, they found an opening. That's rough because they're going to knock the cannon crews off and they might not be able to remount. That's all it takes, man. That's all it takes. So that Grand Cannon going to be shut down for now. Did we see another missile mirror? It looks like we did. I think we saw another missile mirror. So the missile mirror did go down right here and the other Grand Cannon appears to have been punished, maybe? Or maybe it's just the Grand Cannon's kind of trading there. So Celestial Crossbowmen being hammered by weight of fire. Peasant Horsemen able to intercept these Jade Lancers backed up by the Dragon-Blooded Lord. And this cannon does actually get taken down here, and it's losing models. So talk about cost-effective, just diving one crappy Peasant Horseman in there. I mean, that's Value City. Now, the forces of Rhineless, the weight of numbers seem to be doing pretty good. Just the pure weight of archers, and obviously Miao Ying is going to be a big presence. If a lot of the big, expensive shooting does get shut down, especially the Celestial Dragon Crossbows, Miao Ying is going to be a huge, huge raid boss. A huge, huge raid boss. Miao Ying moving in, attacking some spears there, which is a little bit curious. I'm sure Miao Ying will move, and maybe it was just a little bit of a misclick there. There's going to be a summon of the Celestial Warriors, and what will they be doing? I feel like a massive missed opportunity. Like, these cannons, I guess they're still going. So, yeah, the summon wasn't super necessary, but the cannons of Hanadin's were able to claim victory in that particular duel. Now, back here, Miao Ying has come, and she's going to be attacking the Grand Cannons and killing the models for sure. It looks like the Dragon-Blooded Lord does move back here to fight. Not really going to be terribly impactful, though, as one cannon is taken out by the Storm Dragon. Such a cool name. And the Peasant Archers, or Horsemen, do come in the back, so they rally back, and they do charge into the Grand Cannon here. So suddenly, Value is getting very close. It's 47 to 55 right now. And oh my god, is that going to be a Talons of the Night from Miao Ying? Oh, beautiful cast right there, as it tears into the Archers, this Infantry, the Jade Warriors, just all sorts of value. That was a really, really good one. And with that cast, Rhineless just skyrockets up in value and passes Hanadin's there as Miao Ying just Value City, and she also pushes back one of the cannons here. So far, the Storm Dragon is doing a very, very good job. Trying to fight for the survival here in the tournament, right? If Rhineless does lose this match, he would be eliminated. But obviously, both players scrapping tooth and nail here. Currently, Hanadin's does push back up in value. I think that Miao Ying being focused here pretty heavily. Also, the Ancestral Warriors with halberds. She's a little bit trapped up on the cannon. This could be the game here if Hanadin's does get the pick on the Storm Dragon. And it looks like she is down for the count. Taken down by the Dragon-Blooded Lord. Man, I did not expect to see the Storm Dragon fall there. And that probably is going to be the beginning of the end, right? Because the army was much more centered around the Storm Dragon. It was a very, very expensive lord choice. And the wider army here for Hanadins seems to have done the trick. And the magic, the missile mirror, I don't know how useful that was. But the summons, of course, are very, very useful. The halberds here, able to push in and will be able to tear through these peasant archers and generate some really, really good value. So that was pretty damn cool. That was a really good scrap. Right now, I think Hanadin's going to be closing the game out soon. Without the carry character, the cannons being offline, I mean, there's not much left for Rhineless's army. We do have a couple peasant archers and Jade warriors, but there's just so much yellow on the map right now, and the value lead is really going to be splitting pretty heavily right now, but a really interesting opportunity there to see the old Miao Ying getting the big vortex that maybe could pull the game back in. But then she kind of got trapped and focus fired by the Celestial Dragon crossbows, which are right here, and they were both pretty healthy at that point. They were probably in guard mode. And she just got absolutely evaporated by those bows, which I would imagine got some really, really good value. We'll have to take a look at those. But looking around, very, very close to army losses. It's barely just holding on by a thread is the Cathay army here of Rhineless. And a very good performance as well, though, for sure. Rhineless, I do not believe, has made it to a top 4 yet of a tournament and was able to defeat top-tier players. So big shout out, Rhineless. You did great. Keep your head up high, and I look forward to seeing you in future tournaments as that battle does close out. And Hanadin's, a consistent contender in the top 4s, is going to be advancing on to the grand finals to face the winner of the bottom side of the bracket. So now we have the dreaded duel between Professor Pone on the bottom. Pone, do you know who your opponent is? You have to let us know. I think the Celestial Crossbows did really good damage at the end, yeah. 1,200 on 1, 783. I like the missile mirror thing. I think that was kind of cool. I thought the summons would be used to shut those down, but in the end, I guess the triple cannons were able to do it. Miao Ying didn't quite carry. Like, she really was the epicenter of that army, right? Lincoln, the Great Maw gifted me a free cup of extra frosty. Gut Magic OP. Oh, hell yeah, man. Gut Magic is OP. So, taking a look at the old scoreboard, we can update that. Hanadin's does go up 2-0 there. He's going to be winning that series. Well played to Rhineless. It was a great series, and we will go to the website and see who made it to the top 4 to face the unbeatable Professor Pone. Wow, they're still not there yet. I wonder if there was like a rule break or something. Goodness. Okay, we'll have to keep tabs on that. Anyways, let's head to the bracket. 4-man bracket. Through the power of technology, Hanadin's will teleport to the grand finals. Impressive performance. Great Cathay play. And we're still waiting at the bottom. So we can head over to the website real quick and just take a look and check things out. Here we are. So doing a little refresh here. I believe there's no victor yet in that series. So obviously, once Hanadin's updates the score on his bracket here, he'll be jumping onto the grand finals. And I would imagine Hanadin's is really, really pressing for the top leaderboard spot. Let's go take a look here. Yeah, look at that. So if Hanadin's wins today's tournament, he would be taking the number 2 spot on the leaderboard, actually. Like, really, really close. Because he would get, yeah, he just got a 7th and 8th win, so he would just be a couple games behind Void. Very, very impressive. And then, of course, Evenstar is playing against Vicious Satsuma right now. And yeah, you can see the leaderboard starting to like update with a lot of folks here. So I have decided, I think we're going to be doing seasons. So eventually this leaderboard will be changed to like season 1, and we'll have like a constant leaderboard and a season-based one. So the seasons will be updated whenever like new content drops. So I'm thinking about that. That's kind of more or less the direction I'm leaning in there. Heading back on over. Yeah, man, they must be in game 3. That must be like a super intense series. Hey, how you doing, man? Unfortunately, I don't know how to read your name, but I hope you're safe and yeah, and everything's going as best as it can. So you never had a Wendy's chocolate frosty? So I haven't had Wendy's since, man, it's been a long time. It's been a long, long time. I don't think I've had Wendy's since high school, so like 2005 or 6. I was more of an In-N-Out guy. Like I really always enjoyed In-N-Out. Professor Pone says, I played Cathay 2 times so far, brought Miao Ying both times, and 0 Sentinels. Yeah, Sentinels, I think, are better in domination mode. I feel like that's where they really shine, because they give you fighting power on objectives. In land battles, I don't know if you're as dependent on Sentinels, because you can actually have like big formations and shoot properly. No, right now, we're just going to have the leaderboards together. But eventually, I might just think if I want to split them, but I think we have enough crossover of players, and the skill set is similar enough that, you know, I think it's fine to just keep it like that. Will you do an Ultra Fun tournament? Yeah, at some point maybe. I don't know when, but you know, we perhaps could. We perhaps could. So these gentlemen still going fisticuffs. Heading over to the 4-man bracket, you can see this is the current tail of the tape. Professor Pone awaiting his opponent. So we will see who is going to be meeting him here, and we'll get this going. Wendy's has gone Super Saiyan recently. Yeah, I'd be down to try it again. I mean, I loved it in high school. The big thing I didn't like about In-N-Out growing up is that they didn't put like, you couldn't get like bacon on your burgers at In-N-Out, and that was like one of my favorite things. That was one of my favorite things for sure. Five Guys, is that like an Italian restaurant? I don't know if I know that one. Yeah, I don't do too much fast food. I guess my biggest like fast food like thing I do now is probably Subway. Every now and then I'll go to Subway, but that's about it. Sentinels can be good without healing. Yeah, it's true, but they're really good with healing. I think Sentinels shine with Miao Ying. I can't tell you how many games I've won on land battles just having like Miao Ying with a couple Sentinels, just like heal capping them and with regrowth and just like cackling. Dude, $20 a burger, that's brutal. Oof. Yeah, I mean, prices are kind of going up with everything. You do see that. So, Hanadins, if you are listening, go ahead and update the brackets. You did, perfect. So I can see you in the grand finals now. And we're just going to hang tight for a couple minutes. No rush to Satsuma. We can enjoy each other's company and prepare. So we have a little intermission while we wait for the grand finals here, or the next best of three. That was a pretty interesting series, too. We had Khorne versus Ogres, and then we had a really cool Cathay mirror match. I love Cathay mirror matches. I think they're really fun to watch. It's really, really fun to watch. All right, one sec here. Perfect. Let's go ahead and get the nameplates ready for the next series. So, Professor Pone, I have the lobby up. Hanadins, we'll see you in the grand finals. Pone, I'm going to drop you a link right now, so if you could go ahead and join. Go have fun. We will set this up. And we don't know who he's going to be facing yet. We don't know who the opponent will be. Yeah, prices, like everything just feels a little bit more expensive. Like maybe like 10, 15%. I've noticed that. Even like in the past year or two, it just feels like you kind of notice it. When I've been doing my accounting and looking at my bank stuff and expenses, I kind of just feel it. Professor Pone, I host. Yeah, I host. Yeah, like I remember, so when I was in college back in 2007, 8, I remember going to like Subway, and back then, guys, you could get a footlong for $5, like actually $5, a $5 footlong. And like I went to Subway the other night, and I got like a footlong sandwich, and I got like chips and a drink, and it was like $13 or $14. I'm like, what is this, like a gourmet restaurant? You know, like what's going on there, dude? Like, yeah, I could get just the footlong, but it'd be like $8 or $9, you know? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I really enjoy playing Cathay in land battles. I don't like them in domination mode, but land battles I think is where they really, really shine. That's the sweet spot for sure. Yeah, Subway's definitely gotten more expensive. In Australia, fast food is very expensive. Yeah, it's like that. It's like that in a lot of places around the world, for sure. It definitely can be. Yeah, it definitely can be. What are the fast food options that we have out here that are pretty good? It's you know what's really interesting too is trying. I've had friends who've went and like taught English in Japan, and like hearing about how like the American fast food chains are different in other countries. Like they have different menus and different items, and honestly, the quality is like vastly different. Like I ate at where was it? Where did we go? Was it a KFC in Poland that was just like much better than the ones we had here? I can't recall. You remember the $5 footlong ads? Yeah, those were the days. Those were the days for sure. $5 footlong lasted till like 2018 here. I was eating them weekly. Yeah, that's a great deal. It's a great deal. Yeah, grocery prices feel like they've gone up too. Like sometimes I feel like if I want to make like a good dinner, right? So let's say, why are you not able to join Pone? I'll just rehost it. It's fine. All right, so turn top 4, fine. All right, Pone, I'm rehosting. Then I'll get you an invite, bud. All right, where are you at? All right, I'm going to send you a link. All right, Pone, got you, man. This one should work fine. And, yeah, we're all set. Flats of Kislev, one of our better maps. Dude, straight up Duel of Fates going on down there. Some people do take a long time with their army picks. That could also be part of the variable as well. All right, let me know if you can join there. But yeah, like lately I've been, you know, I cook at home from time to time. I've been pretty bad about it lately. Because I'll finish, you know, a 4 or 5, 6 hour stream and I'm just kind of like lazy and I just want to go like get something quick. But, you know, like one of the things I like to cook at home a lot is like salmon. So get like a salmon, just, you know, put some sort of a glaze on it and some spices and stuff, and get with some vegetables or rice or whatever. And it's like, that ends up being so expensive. I'm just like, man, it would have been cheaper to just go to like a restaurant nearby at times. I mean, yeah, of course you can cook very cheaply if you just do like pasta and like very basic stuff, but yeah. When we were, so the wife and I were coming back from Poland, and one of the cities we laid over in was, Chicago. Yeah, at the O'Hare Airport, and we got trapped there overnight because of like the blizzard, basically. And so we went into like a late night diner there, and the prices were like, it was like time travel. The prices there were like, you know, like 10 years ago. I was like, man, this is great. Like, we're at this diner. It's really wholesome and fun. And yeah, the prices were like, man, like $5, $6, $7, like for these like big breakfasts. I was like, dude, this is how it should be, man. So Mr. says, in Sweden, we have a McTasty. They're amazing. Don't know if those are in America too. Man, I don't know if I've heard of that. Dude, there's some heated conversation going on in chat about about some of the fast food choices. Yeah, I love it. All right, so switching back to the flash journey here. Got to make Professor Pone's name a little bit more powerful. Cool. And we'll see who he's facing off against. We don't know yet. We will arrive and know the demons of chaos are not allowed. They are not allowed. Any idea on when DLCs are coming? I have no idea. Yeah. So it looks like Evenstar might have won. He just jumped in. Let's see. So let's see what the dreaded Professor Pone can do against Evenstar. It's really funny because, yeah, wow, it was a 2-1 victory for Evenstar. Crazy close series. Yeah, so we're all good. All right, so you guys can start your picks and bans. Good luck, have fun. And let me go ahead and update the nameplate as well as the bracket. And it is going to be Evenstar. Cool. Alrighty. Good luck, have fun. So will Professor Pone pull off the upset? But what I was going to say about Pone is he was telling me, he's like, I often play in your tournaments just so I can play like one match and then try and win and then maybe lose the next one, because, you know, he just does it for fun. He doesn't like play competitively or practice or anything like that, but he made it to the top 4 today, and he was like, I don't know how this happened, which is really funny. So yeah, it's going to be Pone against Evenstar. Good luck, have fun. We can do the picks and bans, and we'll get this started as soon as possible. I don't know if I live in a pretty small city. We don't have, so the city I live in, it actually is really small. The population is like 7,000 people, and it's like a mountain valley. So you go through into this like mountain valley, like kind of, it's very isolated, and there's a law in our town where they outlaw chains. Like almost every chain is outlawed here. So there's no fast food in our town. Everything is like a local business in our hometown, which is really cool. Like, it's funny, and like right on the outskirts of our city limit, it's a pretty small city, so it's like not far. If I wanted to drive from one end of my town to the other, it'd be like 15 minutes, like 10 minutes maybe. It's really small. But right on the outskirts of the city, it's the funniest thing ever. All the Haggard chains are out there, like right on the edge, just like these vultures. So you have like Taco Bell, McDonald's, Subway. They're all like right against the city limit, like bunched up against each other. It's hilarious. Yeah. So that's like, you know, you gotta go to the edge of town to get the shady fast food. Lincoln made a tier list of fast food in your Discord in general chat. Okay. I like that, Lincoln. You made a fast food tier list. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna have corn. Is it in the meme section? Let's take a look. Where is it? Hold on. Where is this? Where did you put it, Lincoln? I'm looking. Is it in the general chat or something? Oh yeah. Okay, let's see. So you got Wendy's as S tier. Yeah, that's, I don't know. Yeah, you got In-N-Out as A tier. D tier is Arby's and White Castle. Panda Express, Jack in the Box. That's pretty fun. Yeah. We'll take a look at that in between games. If you could move it to the memes section of the Discord, that would be better. All right, so the first matchup is going to be corn for Evenstar, and I'm not sure what. Yeah, drop it in the memes chat, and I can take a look at that. Is dancing also outlawed in the small town? No, it's not. No, absolutely not. No, we have like liquor stores in our hometown. The only thing that's banned is like corporate chains. So you're not going to find like Target, Walmart, anything like that in our city. It's all local businesses. But like, yeah, you can drive 20 minutes and find any of that stuff if you go out of town. Do they judge you as you drive out there? No. I like that law, actually. I think it's good. Do the citizens attack you if you visit Subway? No. No. Is this yeah, so you had to have signed up earlier. Panda Express D tier, wow. So we got Slanesh maybe for even star? I'm not sure. They're still doing it. Okay, so let's go look here. Did you move it to the meme section? I think you did. Okay. All right, guys. So we can take a look at this real quick. This is the fast food tier list submitted by Lincoln in chat. So he's got Wendy's as S tier, Chick-fil-A, and then I can't see, is that Five Guys? I think that's Five Guys. In-N-Out, Chipotle. See, my list would be a little bit different. For me, In-N-Out would be S tier for sure. Chipotle, I might even put it S tier too. But you know, it really depends on where you live. But like, people have such harsh opinions on In-N-Out. Like, they either love it or people out of state like hate it. It's like this weird rivalry. Domino's for sure should not be A tier. Like, Domino's, I think, belongs in like the pits of hell. Dude, I've gotten food poisoning from Domino's twice. One time, I almost had to be hospitalized. It was so bad. Only the dark gods know what they did to my pizza in that back kitchen that made me so sick. It probably like fell on the floor and they just put it back in the thing. I think Subway is like kind of in a correct place. McDonald's, Pizza Hut, okay. I definitely agree with your D tier. I think Arby's belongs in the D tier. I think Panda, I think you're a little bit too harsh on Panda Express. I feel like Panda Express could be like a little bit higher up. White Castle I've never had, so I'm not sure. And Jack in the Box, I think Jack might be a C. I don't know. This is we should have a stream. We should have a stream where we just like look at tier lists of like fast food and talk about it. Dairy Queen. I've never had Dairy Queen, so I can't speak to that. My list would be very different though. My list would be very different. But like, I agree with a lot of stuff. I haven't tried Wendy's in the most recent 15 years, so I can't judge that either. Sonic Burger. I haven't had that either. Yeah. Well, that was fun. I'm sure we can have some lively discussion. So, Pone, what is it going to be? We have Professor Pone looking at Demons of Chaos, maybe trying to decide what he wants to play with his choices. Domino's was outlawed here due to having expired ingredients. That's so funny. Little Caesars is a D. What the hell? Oh, man, that's so funny. Dude, now I know how those YouTube channels, like, there's YouTube channels that just do tier lists. Would you guys be interested if I started a YouTube channel, like a really stupid one on the side where I just did tier list videos of like everything? So like Steven Seagal movies, fast food, you know, MMA fighters, like whatever, like just like the weirdest, most random shit. I feel like that'd be really fun. Yeah, I feel like that'd be really fun. This is the list of someone who sold their soul to chaos. Lincoln, man, I love it, dude. Thanks for submitting that. That was really fun. Okay, we got Zinch versus Korn here. Professor Pone is on Zinch, and Korn is being played by Evenstar. So, pretty cool little chaos duel. I have a couple build ideas here for both sides. I'm appalled. Yeah, where's Del Taco? The disrespect to White Castle, says Caleb. Oh, man. That's really fun. I'd be down with that. Maybe I'll see if Professor Pone wants to do that with me. Pone, you want to start a YouTube channel together? You know what's really funny? If I did like a really stupid tier list channel that just like rated that kind of things, like I feel like it would do better than my actual channel here. Like eventually it would grow bigger than this channel I've literally spent years of my life developing, which is such a funny concept. Yeah. I think like if I did that channel with Professor Pone and Italian Spartacus, like a joint venture, that would just be golden. Yeah. I did have a podcast. It's just like, I don't know. It was covering Total War stuff. I don't know. I'm not like super motivated to do it for some reason. If I had another channel and somebody else to keep me honest, like I think I would be more on top of it. But I'm just so focused on like the Total War competitive and the website and all that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I don't hear anyone talk about this. Why do the different Chaos Gods not have access to Khorne Warriors like in Tabletop? They probably will eventually. They probably will eventually. Yeah, absolutely. Del Taco is hauntingly bad. Turin, super gross. We had one out here. Yeah, I remember eating at a Del Taco once and being kind of disgusted. That was many, many years ago, though. That was many, many years ago. Tearless tantrum. Oh my god. Hey, the wife is here. Darling, how you doing? Well, she could probably hear me. She could probably answer me through the door. I don't know what room she's in. Well, darling, I know you didn't enjoy doing YouTube, so I didn't want to force you into that. All right, Zinch and Khorne are here. He's using the cool one. Pone is using the cool flag for Zinch. Yes. Did you see the trailer for the new Nick Cage movie? I did. That looks like a lot of fun. I think Anna and I were talking about wanting to see that. Yeah, that would be fun. Do you have Swiss functionality on Total Tavern's site? Not yet, Shellen. That is something that we could do down the road. Like right now, we have the ability to run just basic tournaments, you know, like best of 3, best of 5, whatever. But it's all like ladder based. Yeah, but there will be more development cycles. So I think based on what people really want feature wise, we would do that. We would do that for sure. Oh, Pollo Loco. I think I've had that a couple times. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. The fast food discussion was certainly very lively. Certainly very lively. All right, so the battle is upon us. It is going to be Khorne versus Zinch. Now for the build of Zinch. Okay, I kind of like this build. Yeah. He's got Forsaken and Spawn, which is like kind of become a staple of Zinch play in land battles. It's really good, right? They can pretty much crush any front line. Like Forsaken will normally lose to Chaos Warriors, but man, oh man, if you stack those Spawn on top of them, dude, they can do some great work. They sunder their armor and allow the Forsaken to trade much more effectively. We do also have a couple blues, and it looks like a Doom Knight and a Chaos Knight. Those are some heavy hitters. Now, for the forces of Khorne, what appeared to be in the army was actually, and did we update the nameplates correctly? Let me go ahead and double check here. Yeah, we did, so we should be fine. Was a big Greater Demon, Exalted Bloodthirster, which is probably going to be one of the harder elements of the army to deal with for sure. Yeah, Sentinel, Sentient. No, I don't think I have. I don't think I have. So, taking a look at the Coronate Army, it is going to be Chaos Warriors of Khorne. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Shielded Warriors. Obviously, Pendulum is currently banned, so this is going to be a little bit more viable. Whereas if Pendulum was here, you would just lose all these warriors before the fighting even started. Now, Exalted Bloodthirster is a pretty good choice. It gives you a contingency against big armor, so he can battle, of course, Doom Knights, Chaos Knights, all that sort of stuff. 2 more flyers, so Chaos Furies, going to be looking to dive shooting units, Flamers, and Khorne Dogs in the back. But Pone went with like a very, very tight army that really isn't terribly vulnerable against being flanked. And I think if Pone plays correctly, he should be okay. The only thing I don't like about Professor Pone's army is the magic choice. I think going with a Metal Caster against Khorne is a little bit better, because I guess Blue Fire spam is always good. Maybe I'm wrong, because Blue Fire, if you just spam it all game against like a character or something like that, I think that would be good. I think that would be good. So Forsaken of Zinch running up here. We have the Spawn of Zinch as well. And the Blue Horrors getting ready to just cackle and make little funny sound effects. The one thing the Khorne army will be able to do is get a huge envelopment, which is going to be very punishing, right? Like this huge Doom stack just surrounding. Okay, Blue Fire on the Cultist, I like that. It's not a bad play. Does a little bit of damage, takes him down, but more importantly, it starts to charge these Zinch army abilities, and that's one of the main reasons why you want to spam Blue Fire as much as you possibly can. And you can get the army abilities going very, very quickly. So right now, Evenstar is going to be pulling back, as a little bit of shooting does go down. Cultist is going to be dropping summons on this formation, I would imagine. So one Cultist does move up, while the Forsaken chase here. And now Professor Pone pulls it back, which is a smart choice. Definitely doesn't want to be taking that fight there. One summon is going down, and yeah, just going to kind of be pulling back and buying some time here. Chaos Knight's going out to the flank to hit those Chaos Warriors. See, like a Plague of Rust would be really nice. It would make these Chaos Warriors like 40 armor and could be very, very strong. Blue Fire going down does a lot of damage actually against that Exalted Bloodthirster. And now the Royal Rumble is upon us. The Zinch front line slamming into the Khorne front line. The Spawn will be moving in as well. Doom Knight's not active at the moment. Doom Knights should be hunting Khorne Dogs and Furies. That's more or less what they want to be doing, but it looks like they're actually going to be going after the Bloodthirster. Ooh, the chicken takes a big hit, but then he pulls back, summoning in Furies of his own. The Blues are going to be collapsing back in towards the center, while the Greater Demon does hunt down the other Greater Demon. The Chaos Knights here get a little bit trapped up by a massive Khorne blob, and it looks like they're going to be pulling back in to defend their formation. In the front, It seems to be going a little bit favored for Khorne. The value trading here is pretty even at this point, and the Exalted Lord of Change is juking out the Greater Demon, while the Greater Demon is actually kind of pinned in place by all these Doom Knights. So the Mighty Disc Warriors are chasing him, and another blue fire coming down. It's going to be hard to hit him, actually, but oh, it actually paths under there. Okay, that was pretty cool. Doom Knights, though, going to be swarmed by Fleshhounds. The Spawn and Forsaken lines seem to be doing okay. A nice pink fire going down there, but it doesn't do too much against armor, so not going to be super effective here. Evenstar does get a nice surround here with the Fleshhounds, and on the flank we do see the Forsaken of Zinc actually getting broken off. So relatively even trading, a little bit favored for Evenstar. Doom Knights do manage to get back up in the sky. The Chaos Furies aren't so lucky, and I think if the Doom Knights can just take a fight against the old Chaos Furies, that could be a decent trade for them. The Bloodletter summons, though, are a big variable in Evenstar's army, and when they do start to disappear, the dynamic of the battle could shift, right? Because those summon units are really providing a lot of punch, and then suddenly they're gone, and you're missing out on, like, 1,600 gold worth of, like, fighting power. Doom Knights, though, kind of getting wrecked. Some of them are getting trapped on the ground as well against the Furies and against the Khorne Dogs, and they're taking some pretty big casualties, which I think is definitely costing Pwn quite a bit. I feel like the Knights and the Doom Knights were kind of the weak link in the army. Everything else seemed to perform very, very well, for sure. Like, Pwn's front line did great, but Evenstar was able to really outmaneuver on the Doom Knights and the Chaos Knights. And you can see the Chaos Knights here are fully surrounded. They have some blues that are kind of backing them up, and yeah, the Chaos Knights accruing about 600 value as they fight to the end. Zinch obviously can be surprisingly durable for sure. Now, a Zinch army ability could generate a ton of value here. If they have the Zinch army ult, it could really hit these Chaos Warriors and these other units and do very, very well. We will have to see. And looking around, Evenstar is cleaning up the flanks with the Fleshhounds of Khorne. The Zinch army here is slowly melting to dust as the Exalted Lord of Change, the Great Chicken, going to be pulling back up in the sky, maybe looking to cycle charge against the Cultists or something like that. We'll have to see. Chaos Knights, probably close to about 1,000 value. Forsaken trading well. Spawn are the big MVP here for sure. Now, for rallying units, what do we have? Not much, really. Most of the Demon units, of course, just crumble, but there are some Forsaken that are on their way back in. Is there any way for Zinch to get back in this? It's going to be a tough one. Little blue fire going down right there does tickle the pickle, but really nothing terribly substantial. Dylan, thanks for becoming a member. I greatly appreciate it, and welcome to the Dukes of Haggard. So Exalted Bloodthirster is here. Deathbringer is active, and that is going to be giving some huge punch while the Chicken tries to fight back. Really, really nice Zinch army ability. That's exactly what I was talking about, and that actually got him a ton of value. Really punished all these units. The Forsaken, the Chaos Warriors, they all took a little bit of damage there. But I think Zinch just barely loses this. It's a very good series. Bounce Power is not point of no return. Chicken is still trying to fight. He does have a summon there, and very, very slippery is the KFC Chicken as he pulls away and gets away from the Exalted Bloodthirster. Going to be trying to run and regenerate his shields while the Spawn do fight to the bitter end. The army of Evenstar is very damaged as well, but it does just not look like there's going to be enough left, as the Exalted Bloodthirster is going to be a big problem. Certainly going to be punishing the Chicken as it does land on the ground here. Going to be slam jam space jamming. Then pulling back up into the sky. So trying to juke a little bit, it looks like. And the Chaos Fury summon is kind of the glue that is holding together the faction, right? Without these Chaos Furies, the fighting power of Zinch on the battlefield as it stands would be pretty much non-existent. I don't think that the Lord of Change is going to be able to kill the big demon. He does get in and actually breaks one of the cultists here, and a blue fire right in the face, getting rear charged by the Fleshhound Zoe. Going to be pretty rough for that thing, as it only has 30 armor, and Fleshhounds do really, really good damage against big armor. And I think that's it. GG, well played. Certainly a very, very fun match. I enjoyed that one quite a bit. It was great. Good even duel. Evenstar showing that the Blood God certainly can duel against the Changer. And that is going to be game one in this best of 3 to determine who will be moving on to the grand finals to play in best of 5. Khorne does it. Well played to both players. Great play by Evenstar, very clean, and also some very, very solid play by Professor Pwn. But in the end, the Doom Knights and the Chaos Knights were the weak links. I think if Pwn had just gone with more Spawn and more Forsaken and more Blues, he probably would have won, or been in a very good position. I think those were the weak links there. So that is going to be 1-0 in this best of 3. And now the next map here is going to be, let me go ahead and pull that up. It is going to be the Wastes of Khorne. Wastes of Khorne. There you go. All right. So the Khorne Wastes are upon us. And let's see. Hey, that's a pretty funny name, man. How much wood? Oh, dude, don't do this to me on stream. Because you have to be careful with those. I've seen people on Twitch be given donations to read funny things from like playground rhymes and things, and then there's something horrible mixed in. So I'm always cautious with that. But thank you so much for the donation. Appreciate that. Thank you. The only way to counter Zinch is Nurgle. Yes. Yeah, of course. Just haggard Nurgle, just waddling around like an absolute potato. So round 2, let's see what they're going to be doing. And yes, he is thinking on the factions. Okay, cool. So they're just letting me know what's up. They're letting me know what's going on. Thank you all for joining today. It's our land battle tournament. If you've enjoyed the game so far, do drop a like. It does help out quite a bit. Helps multiplayer reach more people. Tabletop Simulator exists for fantasy, AOS, and 40K. Yeah, Tabletop Simulator is a pretty good way to, especially during the during the whole pandemic and everything. It was a good way to get some games in. But personally, I don't like playing it. Like the whole experience for me in tabletop, I really like just playing like and seeing the battlefield in person and all that. Why don't all the Chaos players run double cultists even in land battles? It's pretty good, yeah. It's pretty good protocol. But like I don't know. I feel like for Zinch there might be better choices, but I mean if he had, instead of had a Chaos Knight, had like 2 cultists instead, like yeah, I think like that would have been way stronger. Do you post the full tournament anywhere? All I can find on your channel are the top 4s. Yeah, Joe, we just only cast the top 4s because it would take too long to cast every single best of 3. Like I've been doing this tournament since like 8:30 in the morning and it's 1 p.m. right now. And I have to manage it and help players who are struggling with the score reporting and all sorts of stuff like that. So yeah, we just do the top 4, which also basically allows you to see the best players, and gives you the best gameplay experience typically. Less memes though, for sure. Less memes. All right. So looking around, what are the picks going to be for the next one? We will find out. Do you think Nurgle would be decent on land battles? Yeah, they're better. So Nurgle on land battles is good against Khorne. They're good against Slanesh, and they have an even matchup against Cathay, in my opinion. So they have like 3 good matchups and 3 really bad ones. Like Nurgle is much more viable on land battles. Much more viable. Nurgle hard counters Slanesh and really does very well against Khorne too. Can you force them to play Nurgle? No, I can't. Although if somebody would do it, it would be Professor Pone. He would do it because he doesn't care about winning. He's just here to have fun. So he would definitely do something. But I think his other faction that he's good at, Zinch and Cathay. Oh, he's doing a Nurgle pick. Oh my God, the man of the people. He's going to go out like a champ. Lincoln, you made a value list? Okay, well, maybe we'll take a look at that. Yeah, maybe we will. Dude, I can't believe this is happening here. We get the dreaded Nurgle pick. Oh my God. Evenstar is probably just going to pick like Zinch or something. And just like absolutely destroy Nurgle. I hope Pone comes in with like Kugath and just goes full Haggard. Just embraces it. There could be a Nurgle mirror match. Evenstar has done that before. The video I put up today was actually a Nurgle mirror match of Evenstar and Voidlaws playing in the grand finals of a tournament. So yeah. Were you surprised to see Nurgle's win rate on the 1.1 notes? No, because those were ladder win. Ladder win rates don't mean anything really. Like they carry a little bit of weight for sure. But yeah, I mean they do. Okay, that's not fair to say they don't mean anything, but it's really not representative of like competitive play. Like at the higher level. Like Nurgle's win rate at the higher level, if you took tournament players, would probably be slightly better than Cathay. Maybe. But yeah, like the fact that Kislev has a bad win rate. Okay. It's Nurgle versus Slanesh. This matchup is super Nurgle favored. If Professor Pone knows what to do here, then he should be in very, very good shape. He should be for sure. But again, Evenstar has crazy good micro too, so he could still potentially win just based on his micro. All right. So, we'll see what they bring. Just chatting, letting the players know that they can start whenever they're ready. All right. Cool. Alrighty. Players can start whenever they're ready. It's going to be Nurgle versus Slanesh on this matchup. If the Nurgle players know what they're doing, but the thing is, Professor Pone doesn't play Nurgle, I don't think. So he's just doing this for you guys. So remember at the end of the day, Professor Pone is taking a hit for all of you. Yeah. He's taking a hit for all of you guys. Oh man. Like, I think Slanesh can win this with I don't know, what would I use? Probably Exalted Demonettes, maybe. Yeah, you gotta watch out for the Mortis engine though, and Slanesh really has to get in there and fight too, which is tricky. Maybe you just use cultists to like buffer for your SEMs. That could actually be a play. Like you use the cultists to summon a demonette to obey the attacking rules, and then you just like run in and fight with your big demons while the rest of your army kind of cackles in the shadows. I think that might be the case. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We'll have to see what the Dreadlords bring. I'm really curious about Evenstar's, because Evenstar picked into this, right? Like he went this direction, and I'm really curious what his scheme is. He doesn't even, Pwn does not play Nurgle. I play with him all the time. He does not play Nurgle at all. And he's here in the top 4 of the competitive tournament, just like with Nurgle. I'm like, oh, this matchup is super Nurgle favored, not words I was expecting to hear when I woke up today. Yeah, I know. Well, it's like one of the few Nurgle matchups. Maybe he mastered them. I don't know if he has. Because last I talked to Pwn, which was this morning, I think he was saying I don't play Nurgle at all. I was joking with him. I was like, if you make it to the end, you know you have to play Nurgle for everybody, right? He's like, yeah. Yeah, I like that build. The only thing I don't like is maybe the Soul Grinder. No, the Soul Grinder's good because it forces them to attack, and Nurgle can just sit in a box. Yeah, I like this build. I think it's pretty good. Like, if Pwn plays well, he should win this. But, I mean, okay, that's not fair either. If he plays on par with, you know, with his opponent. But, like, Evenstar is, you know, was a world champion in Warhammer 2. So he's got some insane micro for sure. So that's going to be kind of tricky. Oh, yeah, the website's totaltavern.com. I do need to get a link in my description. Sorry, I'll start doing that. I'm not even used to having it yet, so. All right, so let's see what happens. It is a duel of fates. Typically, you just go with elite infantry for Nurgle. What is it? It's going to be Inkari. Wow, okay. So we got Exalted Plague Bearers, 3 of them, which is a very, very good choice. Nurglings to just hold the back. Mortis Engine, super clutch. Beast of Nurgle, double Cultist on the ground. And this is good, because there's a lot of stacking AoE debuffs here. The Beast of Nurgle does have the Slime Trail, which lowers their melee attack and speed. I don't know if any of the Cultists brought them. Yeah, the Cultists did bring the debuffs too, which is so good, because you force them into a blob, right? So this is going to lower their speed and damage, and this lowers their base weapon damage. So like Nurgle just has all these stacking debuffs. Now in domination battles, what would happen is you would basically just have Slanesh avoid the blob and just go play the other 2 objectives. But here, you know, they have to come fight you, and that's the big thing. Yeah, this is like more or less exactly what you want to be doing. Some people wouldn't use the Soul Grinder, but the Soul Grinder does force Slanesh to attack, and you can just kind of sit in your blob. And that's that. Now, for the forces of Slanesh, it's going to be Hellstriders with Hell Scourges. We have Inkari, double Cultist, a ton of Marauders, and yeah, just more Hellstriders, just Hellstriders with Hell Scourges and things like that. Nurgle is just going to be cackling and just shooting with its mortar from downtown, and Slanesh is going to be moving across as Inkari gets ready to go. You better be careful, though. There's actually this little goon squad hiding in the bushes. I don't know if Pwn is aware of this. For the Nurgle army, it should probably move up a little bit. Like, I would move up here on this hill. Yeah, there you go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, the ambush! But Soul Grinders are really quick. They have, like, what, 75 speed? Yeah, so they're quite fast. They should be able to create enough separation to not really be punished here. And now they're going to be moving up while Evenstar's army does waddle across the map. So, Exalted Plague Bearers of Nurgle, going to be throwing in. They can use the Holy Hand Grenades if they want to. Evenstar better be careful. He's getting a little bit danger close. Yeah, and the Holy Hand Grenades are now here. They actually do some decent damage, too. You can see a couple of those units do get melted down. And yeah, Pwn can basically just Netflix and chill and just shoot. It's the Lash of Slanesh. It doesn't do that much damage. It's like, it didn't kill a single model. Nurgle does not give a shit about that. So it's wasting the value there. So now the big cannon's going to move back out and shoot. So here comes the Soul Grinder. Boom, boom, boom. I love the triple shot. 3, the blessed number of Nurgle. Yeah, there's not really any quality infantry, but yeah, you just shoot into them and, you know, do what you can. In the meantime, Slanesh is just going to go for a full surround. That's all they can do, really. Slanesh just has to get us around here, and yeah, there's plenty of space for them to maneuver and whatnot. So, yeah, it's like if you were like being really degenerate and there was no tournament rules, Nurgle would just sit like in the top corner here. You would just have Nurgle sit against the back, and literally Slanesh would have no chance of winning. Like, they have to be able to get around you. So Nurgle has obviously left them plenty of room. So here comes the big demon. Now what you want to do is use your Plague Bearers to throw grenades at the demon here. Looks like some shots going down into the Hell Scourges. And in the back, we do get Nurglings getting hit by Hell Scourges as well. So Pwn needs to react to this pretty quick and just get out there with his big boys. And another whip of Slanesh going down, but really not doing too much. The big thing for Nurgle, too, is using your Holy Hand Grenades to actually throw into the big Greater Demons. So Hell Scourges there, take a little bit more damage. They actually lose in the trade against the Nurglings, which is very funny. Inkari better be careful, though. Inkari's kind of in the wrong neighborhood a little bit. Might get slightly trapped up. Nurglings battling. Exalted Plague Bearers doing their thing as well. And very, very spicy kind of charging from Slanesh, which is what you have to do. Like, the Slanesh player has to work probably like 5 times harder than Nurgle does in this matchup. Nurgle can just kind of sit on its toilet seat, throw their grenades at your lord, and a direct hit on Inkari there, taking a little bit of work. Nurgling's getting hit by cycle charging, but they are defeating. They are defeating the Hellstriders. So now comes the fight. The big thing for Nurgle, though, is to make sure nothing can get sniped and just play this kind of, tighter game here. Looks like a Cultist Summon's going to be coming down. Exalted Plague Bearers doing their thing. And, ooh, very risky by Evenstar coming in here with the Inkari. That is a risky play. Oh, my God. Look at the beatdown on Inkari from the big bellboy. So summons on both sides. We get Plague Bearers. We get Exalted Plague Bearers being summoned. Exalted Plague Bearers will do super well here, though. They're actual raid bosses. And Inkari going for a snipe on the cultists, but the foot-based cultists are actually really tough to snipe. And Nurgle is actually really seems to be doing well here. Seems to be ahead in value. The Mortis Engine effect going down, I don't think even a unit of Nurglings has been taken out yet. I don't know how I feel about the Marauder choice. They are bonus versus infantry, which of course is decent, but they don't trade super well. I haven't been able to win this matchup with Slanesh against equally skilled players. I have played people who are far less experienced and a little bit newer to the game, and I've been able to win with Slanesh against Nurgle in land battle, but when it comes down to actual tournament play against relatively equally skilled players, it's been very tough. Because if Nurgle is equal with you in value, you're losing because they have heals. And what's going to happen now is Professor Pone should use a big overcasted Fleshy Abundance here and hit the Exalted Plague Bearers and just heal up all those units. And if he can just healing cap those, that's going to be so rough. Inkari with the jukes and the moves, getting it on the Soul Grinder, but the Soul Grinder should be able to fight back. Inkari's getting a little bit low as well, and the Exalted Plague Bear is moving in while Inkari is forced to retreat. I think that's going to be a big heal going down. Yeah, it's going to hit both Exalted Plague Bearers and the Soul Grinder. Oh, that heal was so good. That was so good. Oh, God, the value on that. Here comes the Slaneshi Whip, but he just used the whip on the fake Plague Bearer summon, so that's not really going to be accruing any value there. It's obviously a little bit hard to tell which ones are real and which ones are fake. The Beast of Nurgle, of course, providing some nice buffs, while the Big Chungus continues to just beat down the Marauders of Slanesh. So looking around, I think Nurgle's in a better position simply because of the heal and the value being even. Typically, Nurgle is behind on value, and yeah, one unit of Plague Bearers is going to die here, but that is a fake unit. That was actually a summon, so that is not going to be going down. Exalted Plague Bearers do have the 59 models left. The other ones, I think, are just about to crumble down. Yeah, one model left on those Exalted Plague Bearers. The Soul Grinder definitely wants to get back. You want to get that back to the main army here. While the big man continues to fight, Plague Bearers waddling in all directions, and much of the Slanesh army is buckling on the flanks, but Evenstar is scrapping very well. Very well. And now he's going in for a snipe attempt on the Beast of Nurgle. Beast of Nurgle holding off the Fiends of Slanesh relatively well. The Exalted Plague Bearers here, afflicted by the Superfic Musk, and Pone using the Stream of Corruption, which I don't know if I agree with. I think saving all your Winds of Magic for healing is the way to try and heal cap your units. And it was just a couple Marauders there. Didn't really seem to do too much damage. So Inkari going for a gooning attempt on the Beast of Nurgle here. Doing some good work while the Fiends of Slanesh apply the Superfic Musk. And really nice debuffs here by Evenstar. Yeah, so he lowers the melee defense and melee attack. Pretty hardcore in those units. But Inkari does Rampage. That's very risky. Rampaging next to Big Chungus. But look at the Beast of Nurgle getting beaten down. Really nice play there in isolation by Evenstar. That was quite good. So the Soul Grinder still fighting against Fiends up here. And the Beast of Nurgle is getting isolated, but the Big Chungus is nearby, and he's got his bell, dropping a nice Plague Bear summon here. That's going to be able to buffer off against those Fiends a little bit. So Inkari's going to have to hard carry this game. Inkari's still rampaging, though. A little bit dangerous. Rampage is going to be going down for another 6 or 7 seconds, so might be taking some damage from the Bellman. Now Slanesh has finally pulled ahead in value a little bit. I believe both Cultists of Nurgle are still alive. The Beast of Nurgle isn't that expensive of a loss. It's only an 800 gold unit, so it's not like a huge disaster. The Fiends seem to have been pretty good too, but obviously these Fiends are going to be breaking now, while the Soul Grinder of Slanesh battles these, Hellstriders, which are anti-large, but yeah, they're poisoned and debuffed, and there's lots of nasty stuff going down. But yeah, the Soul Grinder needs to be protected at all costs for Pone. If he could get over here and save that thing, that would be a big win, because it gives you shooting in the late game to, kind of keep Slanesh honest and make sure they're not trolling you and running around and kiting you. I really think Professor Pone needs to make a big effort to protect the Soul Grinder, because Evenstar he's going to see this. He's the vulture here. Oh, look at the flying attack from that thing. Oh my God. But here comes Nurgle. Nurgle's going to move in and try and protect it. Definitely worth saving. And look at the Holy Hand Grenades going in, hitting Inkari as the Big Chungus moves in. 92 to 86. Nurgle is ahead on value, which pretty much means Slanesh is losing pretty badly. And now you can see the bounce of power is massively in the favor of the Plague God, as the Exalted Great Chungus gets his bell and whips Inkari. Inkari's being forced back by the Holy Hand Grenades. Oh yeah, man, what a scrap, but the Big Chungus does endure. Nurgle is a persistent foe. He might not get you quick, but he will get you eventually. Inkari, Curse of the Slug is active, putting Inkari down to, a casual 90 speed there. Well, okay, now, I think it was at like 50 or 60 or something. But Exalted Plague Bear is very, very tough to kill. Very, very tough to kill. And the cultists, yeah, still fighting. Nurgle cultists are really, really good. They have healing, so you don't have to babysit them so much, and obviously on foot. Nice attempt for Inkari going after the Soul Grinder. Willing Prey, Fecundity active, trying to get a little bit of a heal. This is nice. Inkari getting a really nice pick here on the flank, but I just don't think there's enough to kill the big man. Like, I feel like with just the big man being alive, he could probably solo this entire Slanesh army. Here comes the big whip, dropping some bows here. The Soul Grinder of Nurgle ripping some shots into the fourth quarter. Charge Hellstriders. Exalted Plague Bears, we got 2 of them left, 30 and 62. They're going to be so tough to remove, though. And Inkari, Hysterical Frenzy is activated, so Inkari's going to be rampaging, but remember, Rampage only procs the out of control under certain conditions, so maybe potentially going to get some good gooning here. One of the Cultists of Slanesh does move in, and Inkari's now rampaging, so yeah, that's a little bit rough, but the Witstealer Sword is active, so, or was active at least during that initial rampaging, and that gave a big amount of damage. But the dreaded Professor Pone coming in with the Steel Chair, taking a game off the Warhammer 2 World Champ, and now the Cultists of Nurgle shall move in and spread the plague as the Exalted Plague Bearers just doing great work. Great work indeed. Look at these guys. Oh, 1,300 value on them. So good. And the healing you get, they have like almost 14,000 HP. And Kari is banished due to army losses. And Nurgle going to be taking out the Dark Prince. And like I said, very Nurgle favorite matchup. It was a good attempt by Evenstar, but Professor Pone basically played it how you're supposed to. Just like Exalted units, tight box, and outvalue Slanesh in that way. Dude, he's just too big, too powerful. So looking at, I think the only way to win this for Slanesh is to get a goon squad. So Inkari, maybe like a Soul Grinder of Slanesh and like a Keeper. And you have to kill, if you take out the Great Unclean One, you can win for sure. But that's like the only way. Really amazing value on the Exalted boys. 1,400, 1,400. Cultist did good. Beast of Nurgle, you know, got gooned. Evenstar did a good job. So that is going to be 1-1. Let us go ahead and move forward here. On to the next game. So let me double check the map that I have in the back of the pool. The next map here is going to be the Forest of Shadows. Forest of Shadows. The Vampire Forest, yes. Yes. Cool. GG. So let's see what they do for their picks and bans here. And we'll go on to the next game. Hey, welcome guys. Yes. What we like to see, a Nurgle win even if he's favored. That's right, man. Yeah, the constant whip of Slanesh is very good. It costs like almost no winds of magic. And it constantly triggers the buff. So that's why sometimes it's better than slicing shards, which costs a lot more winds of magic, I think. Do you think armored Kossars with great opens need charge defense? I think they're fine. Armored Kossars with great opens serve their purpose. They're like dwarf warriors with great opens, right? But with a little bit of shooting. With light war sleds getting tuned, I'm wondering about Kislev. Kislev will be fine. And people will finally learn how to play them normally instead of just abusing sleds. Yeah. Lincoln says, Turin, you beat me with Khorne by rampaging and gooning my Exalted. Yeah. It's kind of the same thing, Lincoln. That's like how you have to do it. Yeah, because Slanesh actually can rampage with magic. If you like rampage the Great Unclean One and dragged him out of the blob, you could definitely isolate and kill him. It's very, very micro intensive, but that in my opinion is the only way to do it. The Nurgle hero, I know, Pone winning the hearts of the people for sure. I mean, yeah, it's 1-1. Whoever wins this next match goes to the grand finals. And right now we have Hanadins waiting in the grand finals to face off against the winner of Professor Pone and Evenstar. And we'll see what happens. Yeah, I bet you the Slaneshi chariots will get fixed in time. I bet you they will. Yeah, the whip does good AP damage. Yeah, it's okay. It's more about proccing the constant Slanesh passive, which gives your whole army melee attack. Other spells that could be good against Nurgle, I don't know. Probably just the whip and the acquiescence is what I would use. And maybe like a spell that has some sort of a rampage type effect. I don't know. You would probably use fascination on that. So you would use the Slanesh army ability to rampage the Great Unclean One. Yeah, sleds are going to get nerfed. I would imagine a cost increase or maybe like an armor decrease to make them a little bit like, so they actually can die in melee instead of just raid bossing and just doing a million DPS. But you never know. So it is 1-1 here, guys. Very, very tight series between these two gentlemen. They're currently doing their game 3. And we are on the Forest of Shadows. It is the Vampire Forest. Hopefully it's a good map. I've seen it in a couple tournament map pools. But, you can't win always. That's for sure. Okay. Looking around here. No more Slanesh, no more Nurgle. So Evenstar has played Khorne and Slanesh, which means he has Zinc and Ogres in the back pocket, which is really scary for Pone. I know Professor Pone is a pretty good Cathay player. I don't know what else he really focuses on. I mean, obviously he could play Ogres as well. Like, Ogres aren't that hard to play. They're not. You just have a bunch of overpowered units and just cackle. Yeah, Inkari was pretty good there. So Pone is going to be on the Ogre Kingdoms, and I would imagine Evenstar will probably be on... Oh, Grand Cathay. Huh. I actually feel like this is a very even matchup. I have no idea what Professor Pone's going to bring here. I have no idea, to be honest. I feel like Cathay in land battles is quite good against Ogre Kingdoms. That's for sure. I would expect to see some Gorgers, other units like that. But knowing Professor Pone, he likes to meme, so he'll probably bring, like, I don't know, like a great unclean... Not a great unclean one. I was going to say Greasus, but they're basically the same thing. I'm not sure about the exact damage values on the Mortis engines. I'd have to look at the kind of the back end of the stats to really see. Thank you guys all for joining, spending your Saturdays here, having a good old jolly time together. We have Ogres versus Cathay. This is actually, I think, a more even battle on land battles. In Domination, obviously, Ogres are super favored, but on land battle, I would say it's like, it's fine. Like, Cathay can totally crush Ogres, especially with good cannon play. I don't know what the answer is for Ogres to cannons and spears. Like, maybe you just go... I feel like Gorgers are good. Iron Blaster feels a little bit risky because I feel like the cannons are just going to absolutely destroy it. Maybe it's still good, though. Like, you have to maybe call Cathay's bluff and force him to deal with it. Scrag is obviously very nice. I think using the Ogre Power Fist ability is always really, really good. But, yeah, I'm not sure about this matchup. I've played it from the Cathay end, which is very easy to build for. You basically just go double cannon, mass spears, mass halberds, and then, like, I don't know, just some whatever lord tickles your fancy with maybe some longbows to clean up, like, mobile units. Yeah, so that's what I would wager here. That is what I would wager. Alrighty. So check in here. Looks good. Grand Cathay is good to go. Kind of want to check at the builds. Yeah, Gorgers are still good here because Cathay has a lot of armor. But they can die very quickly to the bows, but I still think they're worth taking. You have to use a little bit more finesse against Cathay. If you're facing like other melee factions, you just ignore your Gorgers and let them get you like 2,000 value. But against Cathay, typically there's going to be Peasant Archers or Jade Warrior Archers, that kind of a thing. So, yeah. Greasus basically is a great unclean one, yeah. He's in the ballpark for sure. Yeah, Inkari is a really good sniper character, for sure. Very good hunting with the Wit Stealer's Sword and like Willing Prey, as well as some of the other Slanesh buffs. Like, Inkari can absolutely dunk on people in duels. But again, it's very much sniping. I have yet to figure out that matchup, though. Nurgle seems very dominant against Slanesh, which I'm happy that Nurgle's good. Sky Lantern against Ogres? Yeah, you could do it. You could definitely do a junk. Well, not a junk, or a basic Sky Lantern, maybe just one. They're only 900, and like Ogres have shooting. Yeah, we'll have to see. Okay, it looks like Pone is going for some sort of... Yeah, like, look at the build. I basically called the build for Grand Cathay. 2 cannons, a bunch of spears and halberds, and some bows. Like, that's it. And for Chungus Kingdoms, we actually have Iron Guts. Okay, that's kind of cool. We have Double Gorger. We have some Bulls, some Saber Tusks, and some Noblars. Yeah, decent build. I've yet to play this from the Ogre's perspective, so I don't really have any personal experience. I feel like Skaven are going to be absolutely domination because of how capture weight works. Yeah, Skaven, Bretonia, like, even Greenskins can use goblins, right? So there's, like, a lot of factions will have that. Vampire Counts will probably be the worst, though, because 100 gold zombies that are unbreakable, oh my god. And they have, like, what, a ton of HP? Tommaso says, hey, Turin, kind of new to fantasy, but love 40k. Is there an equivalent of Imperial Knights or Titans in fantasy? In Age of Sigmar, there is. They're I think, Gargants or something like that. It's like a giant-based faction. In fantasy, I don't think there was one that was pure giants. I mean, I think you could play like a pure giant type build. But yeah, we'll see when the Old World comes back, because Games Workshop is working on the Old World, obviously. So they're bringing back Warhammer Fantasy, and it's going to be glorious, and I can't wait. So yeah, I would wait until then to really like pull the trigger on anything, if that's really what kind of goes for you. But I know in Age of Sigmar they do have that. All right, so we saw the build. Nobblar front line to take a beating. Combination of Iron Guts and Gorgers. We got Scrag. Scrag does have the Power Fist as well as the healing ability. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. I think there was one shooting unit too. I think there was one Lead Belcher, which this map is actually very good for the Ogres. Although, honestly, Cathay could deploy like over here in this corner and would be able to get some good shooting. But yeah, this map has some obstruction, which does protect the Ogres on the advance. So taking a look here at the army of Evenstar, very nice deployment pattern, very wide, very spread out, allows for good crossfire. Combination of halberds and spears, backed up by Jade Warrior crossbowmen. The whole army is harmonious for the most part. Grand Cannon's going to be deploying at the back of the map, protected by Jade Lancers and a Dragon-Blooded Lord of Yang. What spells do we have here, actually? From the Cathay Lord, it is going to be a stone... What the hell is this? Stone ground defense. It gives mass and leadership. Oh. So do you use this on your infantry to make sure that the ogres can't push through? Hey, darling.
Keys.
All right, one second. Here you go.
I'm leaving.
Love you too.
No, you have a problem.
No. So the Dragon-Blooded Lord is here, and the other spell is going to be a Noblar clearing spell. So this is basically used to just clear out the chaff units to allow the spears to isolate the ogres a little bit better, which I think is a good choice, but I don't really understand the stone ground stance. I'm trying to think of the applications in this matchup and, you know, how all that's going to go. We'll find out. Turin, what do you think will happen to sub-factions once Immortal Empires comes out? They'll probably be combined. I would wager that all the sub-factions will be combined into the main round. I mean, I don't know, like Avalorn? Maybe they'll just be gone in multiplayer. I actually have no idea, dude. That's a really good question. Maybe the sub-factions will... Yeah, I really don't know how that's going to work. It's a good question. Ogre Cav is okay. In land battles, I actually don't mind bringing like a single Mournfang Cav every now and then. I feel like they can definitely be pretty impactful in a couple matchups, but it's more situational. It's more situational. Yeah, what does the stone ground stance for? Did I just get mugged by my wife? Yes, I did. She needed the keys, so she had to charge in here and get them. So Scrag is here. The Ogre Kingdom's going to be charging forward. Cathay obviously takes a pretty good position here. Yep, plenty of room around the back to flank and everything, so no issues with line camping. Obviously, if he moved his army a little bit further back, that would be considered white line camping, but where he's deployed right now is totally fine. Cannons shooting in and going after the Saber Tusk packs. That is going to be one of the bigger plays for Professor Pone. He needs to make sure to get his Saber Tusks onto the cannons. Even if he loses the Saber Tusk packs, if he can knock them off the cannons, there's a chance they might not be able to remount those guys. So that's going to be kind of cool. Here in the front, Ogre Bull's getting blasted, a big firepower coming in. The Iron Guts and more heavy-duty troops are maneuvering around the flank. And now we do have a flank fight. We have two Saber Tusks battling Jade Lancer. And honestly, the Saber Tusks, the combined numbers here, they might actually be able to defeat that Jade Lancer, just in pure numbers. And I do like the fact that the Gorgers are moving out there. I think that's really a good play, because Gorgers will tear apart those Jade Lancers and are also pretty quick. And then if the Jade Lancers try and retreat, they're going to get chased down by the Saber Tusks. So frontline fighting soon to be on. Here we have another flank engagement, pretty much the same thing. Gorgers should attack here, be given an attack order. I'm surprised they haven't yet. There they go, and now those Jade Lancers probably going to be doomed for sure. With the Gorgers piling in, there will be some big beatings. Now, nice crossfire here. Evenstar is going to be sending out some halberds and does also get the Jade Warrior crossbowmen shooting in while the Jade Lancers do get taken down. Professor Pone taking a lot of damage on the approach while the Ogre Bulls just get eviscerated. The big power fist of the Great Maw is coming in, and I don't think Evenstar is going to see this. Maybe he will. He does see it at the last second. Still does some fat damage, but you got to be careful engaging your ogres into halberds without using the Noblars to support. So Pone's army in the front, moving in, taking a big beating as the Cathay missile power. Oh my god, Scrag is getting dunked on! And one unit of Ogre Bulls just breaks before it even gets in. Nice breath attack by Evenstar as well. Able to kind of buffer out some of those units, and Scrag really is in the danger zone. So currently a very dominating initial engagement here by Grand Cathay. Scrag getting cannoned. Definitely does not need to be happening. He could be hiding in the bushes or the trees, but, you know, Scrag, he likes to get in there and get down and dirty. Now on the flanks, we get Iron Guts and Gorgers. That will be the more devastating factor. I think that you didn't necessarily need to engage Cathay on the front line like this. Scrag going to be running for the hills. We'll see if he is able to come back, but currently Cathay is just massively rocking the value train, while the Gorgers and the Iron Guts and the Saber Tusks try and take down this Halberd unit on the flank. We do get some shooting coming out, so Leadbelchers have emerged from their shadows and will be shooting at Jade Warrior crossbows there. And the Ogre's still fighting relatively hard on a couple fronts. Oh, look at that stone ground stance used on the peasants, giving a mass. Okay. In leadership as well. Oh, it also gives expert charge defense. As if, I mean, they kind of, don't they already kind of have that? I can't remember. But anyways, they are not expert, but they do have charge defense. Yeah, the Gorgers will obviously get through them eventually. Scrag being punished that badly, I think it could just be game blouses there. I think that's probably going to be too much to come back from. Here on the other side, we do get the Iron Guts as well as Gorgers fighting pretty well. Obviously, they're very good, but they're trapped on a single Halberd unit, which is not cost-effective at all. And Grand Cathay showing that they certainly can do very well on land battles. It's a completely different beast for them as they really obliterate the Ogre forces. Peasants are broken on the flanks. Professor Pone's going to be moving in with his Iron Guts, and now he is into the softer parts of the army, but there are more halberds and more spears everywhere. So they could be causing a lot of obstruction here for this advancing Ogre army. Ogre Bulls moving back in. Jade Warrior Halberd's going to be intercepting here. And, yeah, cannons, all sorts of great stuff. We'll see what happens. Good defensive geometry indeed. The fact that the Gorgers have been trapped in spears the whole time is also very, very common. The Ogre Kingdoms, they have just been blasted to pieces. So I think that's going to be GG. It's basically just the Gorgers at this point. Ogre's going to keep fighting, obviously, but Cathay has so many healthy units in reserve that haven't even really had to lift a finger yet, that I think they are more than cozy in this situation. Scrag, here's Scrag. This is the fate that he met. You know, I would feel bad for Scrag because it's a very sad animation right there, you know, sitting by his pot here, but I don't enjoy facing Scrag in domination, that's for sure. So, you know, it's always nice to see Grand Cathay with a solid W. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, Evenstar is going to be advancing on to the grand finals of today's tournament with a 2-1 victory over the legendary Professor Pone. Great series indeed. And Cathay can certainly do some work. So, for those of you guys who are Cathay enjoyers, there's a nice showcase of them against Ogre Kingdoms, a very, very solid build. And that will be a 2-1 victory. So now we move on to the grand finals. Value on the cannons. I know you guys want to see this. 2,316. Oof, that is great. Gorgers held to sub 500 apiece. Obviously quite strong. And the old Iron Guts got punished as well. The Cathay Onion. The Cathay Onion is here. So now we're going to be grabbing Hanadins for the grand finals. So let's get these gentlemen here. Find them in the tournament chat. And Hanadins, if you are listening, you are indeed up. Alrighty. And we'll open with the Kislev map, which is always one of the more fair ones, in my opinion, to open with. So the flats of Kislev. And we'll update the brackets and all that good stuff. Make it official through the power of technology. We will once again do some crazy, crazy graphic design work. So we didn't update this one from earlier, so that was Evenstar. There he goes. Alrighty, cool. I'm really bad at ogres, but didn't want a mirror match. Yeah, I think Pone, you should have taken the mirror match, dude. I think you are the Dark Lord of Cathay. You played really well, man. Impressive series. You know, a nice 2-1 there, making it to the top 4 here. Solid achievement as always. And we will see what they bring here. So we're going to be on the flats of Kislev for the first map. Hanadins is here, so they can start with their picks and bans. So Hanadins and Evenstar. Start with picks and bans. Good luck, have fun. Alrighty. So they will do this. And we'll get started soon. So we just need to update the old nameplates. And Hanadins. Cool. And we're all good. Need to make Evenstar's name a little bit more pronounced there. And perfect. Thank you guys all for joining, by the way. It's been a fun tournament so far today. We've had some really, really good matches, and now we have our best of 5 grand final. Turin, do you think the factions are more balanced in land battles and domination? Yeah, probably. I think so. Because in domination, it's more like skewed, right? You have a smaller army, so like the more OP things become more egregious. Whereas when there's a bigger armies, there's more answers to them. I mean, I know you can respond with answers in domination, but I think land battles. But the thing is about land battles is we have to police everything, right? Like attacking rules, like army limits. So that's like the downside of it. Yeah, Cathay mirror match is pretty fun. They are indeed. Double cannons do destroy one Iron Blaster, 100%. Yeah, hardcore. Professor Pone says I'm rank 10 on Turin's leaderboard. Let it be known. Yes, dude. Yes, nice work. So on that note, while the players do their picks and bans, yes, map is set Hanadins. It is going to be the flats of Kislev. So while the players do their picks and bans, we can go take a look. Did they update their score? I think they did. Yes, perfect. So here we go. So here's the grand finals. It's going to be Hanadins against Evenstar. You can see all the matches that have come before. And now let's go look at the leaderboards and see what the position is looking like. So Evenstar is currently in second place behind Zyphos. But if Evenstar gets a tournament win here, he will be in second place on the leaderboard, and he'll be just 1 game behind Void Laws, which is pretty crazy. So obviously would be able to kind of get that back and break the tie if he were to get more wins and like more tournaments and things like that. Hanadins, on the other hand, if he were to win the event, he would take second place as well. So basically both of these individuals right now are battling for second place on the leaderboard. That's what it looks like, yeah. The dreaded Professor Pone at number 10 with a 75% win rate, 3-1. Very, very good. We will see who can carry that if you can carry that legacy of greatness on. Yeah, looking good. Looking good. It's really fun to see like new people appearing on the leaderboard and all that sort of good stuff. Not really sure what to do with ogres against Cathay. Yeah, honestly, Pone, neither am I. It feels like a relatively tricky matchup. It does indeed. So switching back over, let's take a look at things. Khorne is good against Cathay, but Cathay can fight back against him on land battles pretty well. Typically you just do like a really degenerate like Skyjunk type play, but yeah, it can be tricky too because the Exalted Demon can definitely harass you up in the sky. But yeah, I would say Khorne is favored against Cathay, but not by that much on land battles. Probably like 55-45. Like it's very minor favor for Khorne. Really enjoying this. I understand it's hard for you to manage, but we learned some single player skills as well as multiplayer. Right on. No, it's not hard to manage at all. This is what I do. So I love hosting tournaments. Tournaments are my favorite aspect of this, of doing the whole U of the tube. Looks like it's going to be Grand Cathay versus Kislev, I think, for the first match. If they are indeed set on their factions. It's a really fun one. I enjoy that matchup a lot. It's really cool. Both have good shooting, good artillery. I would say slight infantry advantage for Kislev. But, you know, Cathay's cannons are better, and obviously they a little bit more dynamic, I suppose. So they can present a lot of different threats. Whereas Kislev, usually you know what you're going to be facing. It's going to be, you know, Streltsy, sleds, armored Kossars, that type of thing. I would rather have tried Khorne against Khorne than ogres. Yeah. You had already played Khorne though, right, Pone? Or did you? Maybe some Stonehorns against Cathay? I don't think so, because the Cathay cannons might be really good against them. Although, maybe against Cathay you go for like an armor overload, so you go with like 2 Stonehorns with Hunters, you know, Scrag, or a Butcher of the Great Maw for healing, and then like a bunch of Iron Guts with like Noblars, and just go for like huge armor. It could work. It could work for sure, because the Stonehorns might be able to penetrate into the back lines. Yeah, the cannons would be really good against Stonehorns, though. I'm trying to think. I think I was beaten by an Ogre player in land battles once with Cathay. I don't... The fact that I can't remember it certainly puts that to question. It does feel like a hard one, though, for Ogres, actually, on land battles. But yeah, maybe the Stonehorns are the way. Like, just mad armor with healing. Because, like, yeah, the cannons will get you, but you can heal them with Troll Guts, too. Okay, it looks like it's going to be Zinc versus Kislev in the first game. That's what it looks like. And this is obviously, you know, pretty decent here. Pendulum is banned, but aside from that, there's no other restrictions. We are using the fruit rules, of course. War sleds are limited to 3 in land battles. You light war sleds. So that is a minor nerf to those, because in normal, they're limited to 4. Hey, Cipe, how you doing? We're here in the grand finals, which, speaking of, I forgot to update the little scorecard. We need to make it official. Okay, where are you at? There you go. All right, very good. And this is the best of 5 grand finals, so everything is best of 3. And the finals are best of 5, which is really funny because when you get to game 5, if you do, then what happens is you get like just the players running out of factions since we only have 7, and they have to play the stuff they're not good at, which I think is my favorite moment in the tournaments overall. It's just so fun. Double Stealth Hunter on Stonehorn. That could be something. Yeah, the surprise Stonehorn ambush. Couldn't the Stonehorn with stock just walk right up to the cannons? It wouldn't be as easy as you think, because Cathay would be scouting probably, and they would have like layers of spears to kind of intercept them. Multiplayer lobbies, yeah, they don't always work. So Sweetness, if you're looking to get games in, I just recommend using the Discord that we have. There's a section in that Discord if you're looking to get best of 3s in particular, which is called the Anticity Ladder. And you can actually queue there, and it'll assign you with an opponent, which I highly recommend doing. You're going to be playing really good players at first, but I think that would be good. It's definitely better. Why would you choose Empire over Kislev in a match? Kislev is much... Why would you choose... So Empire has a much more dynamic roster. Look at your lord choices for Kislev, right? You have like basically a bunch of bear lords who are very identical in function. You have Karl Franz, who's really good, flying, hard-hitting. You have Volkmar the Grim, who's arguably better than any of the Kislev lords. On top of that, the Empire has good magic. Like Kislev's magic is subpar. If you're playing the Empire, you have access to like every lore magic, dude. You're going to be cackling all the way to the bank. I got to change off that real quick. So, you know, the Empire has many advantages over Kislev. Now, yeah, Kislev infantry will be more durable. In general, they're more durable. They have the unbreakable trait. But, you know, Empire has a lot of advantages like magic, diversity, more unit variety. Like, yeah, I already said that. But You understand what I'm saying. The hunter, lone hunter thing is cool. I don't know how useful it is since you can get... Yeah, I don't know about that. I would probably cut that. Yeah, Empire also has better artillery. They have like great cannons. There's a lot of things Empire does better than Kislev. That is for sure. That is for sure. So Khorne... Oh, wow. It's Khorne versus Slanesh. Wow. These players were really juggling many options. So this matchup is pretty fun. I would say it's even. I think that Slanesh can win it. This one is a micro engagement. Who gets the better Lord fight? Who gets the Skarbrand rampage Inkari, or does Inkari or the Greater Demon isolate Skarbrand? It's really just comes down to that, which is always fun. Yeah, sweetness for sure. So use the Anticity ladder. There's a section where you'll find it in the Discord. You can queue up and it'll give you an opponent. It'll give you maps. It's a best of 3. It's really good practice. And if you're looking for domination, you can obviously queue on ladder, or you can ask people in the Discord in the looking to practice section, which isn't like super active, but there are people on there every now and then. If you want to join the Discord channel, you just need to go to my website, which is totaltavern.com. And there's a Discord link at the top of the website. Here you go. So you can just go there, and there's a Discord link on the website at the top, and you can join, and you can live long and prosper. All right, loading into the first match, it is going to be Hanadins versus Evenstar. Let's get this party started. I love this battle. It's always fast. This one literally is always over in like a couple minutes. Ooh, very different builds than what I'm used to. I'm almost always used to seeing Skarbrand here, but look at this Slanesh army. Actually coming in with the double Soul Grinder and double Cultist, and we do have what appears to be a Herald of Slanesh of Shadows. No, Slanesh. Okay. Wow, really weird. Against the quad spawn build of Khorne. Oh my god. And demons. Crazy matches. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Let us have some fun. It is going to be Khorne versus Slanesh. This is game 1 of the grand finals. And we certainly have a duel of fates for you, as the Spawn are going to be taking on the Chosen of the Dark Prince. It's not Inkari versus Skarbrand, actually. No, that's usually what you see. You usually see like a Greater Demon of some sort on both sides. But this is actually, I think like both of them kind of teched against that to, avoid it. Which is pretty hilarious. Yeah, Huntsmen are going to be so good against Ogre Kingdoms. 100% agree with that statement. Like, Empire, I feel like will wreck Ogre Kingdoms, like, super bad. Like, they have, like, cheap spears. They have unbreakable infantry if they want. They have, like, Huntsmen. Like, Marcus Wolfheart could be good there. Yeah, Marcus Wolfheart, anti-large shooting with nets against Ogres. That seems really good. And the Empire Knights should be able to fend off the mobility. Yeah, I'd probably just go, like, 5 Huntsmen against, like, Ogre Kingdoms, to be completely honest. Yeah, the Bloodletters are unbreakable though, which is nice. So maybe they're trying to do that and play that way. Do Bearkev have better stats than Halberd Demis? I don't really know. I think Demogryphs might have slightly better stats on some fronts, but the Bears I think have more HP and also have the unbreakable Kislev trait, so they fight a little bit longer. So yeah, it's going to be Bloodletters backed up by Spawn into the sunset. With 2 Furies, which are very good against Slanesh. They hit incredibly hard with like 50 weapon strength when the Frenzy's active. And there's 4 of those. We have a Herald for his AoE buffs and double foot-based Cultist. Now looking at the army here of Slanesh, it is going to be a Herald of Slanesh for Evenstar, double Soul Grinder, which I think the Soul Grinders might be a little bit disappointed that there's nothing big outside of the Spawn for them to fight. Spears, Demonettes, and some Hellstriders of Slanesh on the flanks. So good luck, have fun to both these players. Looks like the deployment will be going down soon, and we do have the Whip of Slanesh. I believe it's just the Whip. Just spamming the old Whip. And is the Herald on foot? Herald is on foot. Interesting. Slicing Charge as well. Cost 12 into magic. Huge armor piercing. So if your opponent does come in with, let's say, a halberd box or something like that, you can really bunker bust that position by using the slicing shards of Slanesh. Something else to follow up on the point you guys were discussing earlier, yes, that is really good, that the Demogryph Knights have access to Earthblood and Regrowth, whereas the Bear Cav don't quite have that, but they do have Patriarchs and the healing from Salak's Lullaby. So there's something back and forth there. They're both quite cool. The Slanesh bots arrive right as the Slanesh game appears, which I think is very much in flavor. Now the army of Slanesh is going to be moving forward to face the armies of Khorne. The Khorne army, a little bit smaller, I think. Yeah, 627 against 1045. All the big Spawn, of course, ready to party. Spawn of Khorne are beasts. These things have 190 weapon strength and a really actually high charge bonus of 42. So if these Spawn are able to get a square charge on something that's lightly armored, man oh man, they can really lay a massive beatdown on those units. Now, the Furies of Khorne are able to spot the casters, so they see the Herald of Slanesh hiding in the bushes. Both armies just waddling forward at a very slow pace. And if you guys are in a match and you're playing against an opponent who does not have any range tools, there's not really much of a reason to run your army fast towards them. You might as well just walk so you don't actually expend the vigor on your units. I think that's always going to be a little bit better. I'm curious if the Furies here for Hanadins are going to go for like a surround on these Demonettes or something. I feel like that could be a really good play. Like a Fury on one side, a Fury on the other, and just get the dreaded corn sandwich. The cornmeal sandwich. Like, the Demonettes, I feel like, would die pretty quick to that. Like, they're glass cannons. They have okay melee defense, but their armor's only 5. So here they go. Yeah, they land. The Demonettes get surrounded there. And Slanesh's, like, cav and mobility are a little bit out of position. Some of the Furies on the other side do the same thing. So they landed on the Demonettes. And one Fury may pay the iron price. We'll see. The Slanesh cav do respond. But, man, oh, man. Look at the value city on these Furies. One of the Demonettes of Slanesh. Beautiful snipe by Hanadins, man. He gets those things crumbling, and then he runs away before the Marauders can get there. That is a really, really good trade. Although on the other side, it didn't go quite so well. The Furies did get a little bit more caught. I believe one of them is crumbling and trying to get away, and it looks like it should stabilize. Why are they at negative 25? I think some of them are still trapped on the ground or something. Very strange. Yeah, I think some of the Fury models are actually trapped in the pits and are going down, which is why they're crumbling. So one of those isolations went very well. The other one, not so much. So one Demonette did fall. So that's a good catch, because the Furies are about 500, but the other one's going to be crumbling here, which will hurt for sure. So in the end, they just end up landing and attacking the Hellstriders. They weren't quite able to get away. I think many of the models were kind of stuck on the ground there. And now the main fighting is going to be getting started as the Bloodletters and the Spawn will be moving forward. Fascination is actually used on the Bloodletters. This won't be rampaging them unless they drop below 80%. And they do also have spell resist, so they have 25%. So I don't know if it will be enough to get them below their 80%, which of course will mitigate their ability to stay in control of their senses. So here comes the Marauders and the old Soul Grinders of Slanesh. They are anti-large, they are armor-piercing, pretty good against the Spawn. Slanesh does have the mobile advantage. Khorne is not slow, though. 38 speed. I have to say, this is really, really weird. Really, really weird to not see any Khorne dogs in this matchup. I feel like they're so good. Now, one Spawn unit does get enveloped pretty heavily by the forces of Slanesh, taking some big damage from the Soul Grinders, but we're going to be seeing summons soon, probably, from Khorne, I would imagine. The other unit of Marauders here are going to get beaten down by the Bloodletters as well as the Spawn, but this is a very nice isolation on these Spawn. They're taking a ton of damage. Their Rampage, they still have 12 of 16 models, now down to 11, so Perfect Musk is going to be debuffing them as well. And Evenstar is a little bit ahead on value, but he does find a nice isolation out here as these Demonettes are once again taken to town by the Chaos Furies of Khorne. It looks like a couple units, and some sort of Witchcraft is going down here. I'm not sure what. Oh, it's going to be Slicing Shards. Whoa, look at the damage on that spell. Damn, that was good. 69 models, that's what she said on the Bloodletters. Very, very good. Man, Slicing Shards apparently a pretty good spell. I'm taking some notes there. Didn't see it used too much before. Unfortunately, Hanadins is sitting here with one tactical reserve right now, so the Spawn of Khorne were kind of standing a little bit idle, but I would imagine they'll be piling in relatively soon. Now, back in the blob fight, the Herald of Khorne battling the Cultists, and there is going to be some summons. The Pits of Hell are opening, and the Bloodletters will be emerging. Value is up a little bit for Evenstar, but it's certainly nobody is like in a huge commanding position. It will be kind of tough to kill those Soul Grinders, but the Soul Grinders are only good against like the Spawn, really. They're not really great against much else in the army, so there's a chance that the Bloodletters and other infantry could carry the day. We'll have to see. So some Chaos Fury summoned by the Herald. A little bit strange that the God-specific, I don't know why I couldn't say that, the God-specific Heralds do not summon their respective God's Furies. They summon Undivided, which was a little bit strange. I think it's just actually an oversight, to be completely fair. But in this blob fight here, it actually does go for Khorne. So they're actually able to win that engagement pretty decisively. And now we have a pit fight while the Herald of Khorne and the two Cultists and the Bloodletters are battling the Hero Squad of Slanesh. Now, this is where Slanesh could perhaps throw the game if the Herald of Slanesh, for example, here gets gooned, or the Cultists of Slanesh do get taken out. I think that could be a big game changer. And now it looks like Slanesh was actually banking a summon in the back pocket. So they are going to be summoning here, I believe, Demonettes. It's very strange. Yeah, the portal opened, but maybe they got like interrupted or something like that. Oh, I think they got knocked over while they're casting, and maybe the summon didn't go down, or maybe he canceled it or something. Very, very strange stuff. But nonetheless, the forces of Khorne are on their way back. And now the Bloodletters of Khorne still battling into the Marauder Spears. Spawn of Khorne are rampaging. Relentless Rage being used on them. That's pretty cool. That's the army ability from Khorne here, which actually does give them the good old ability to not lose any models. So they're grinding. Spawn of Khorne going to be a problem in the later stages of the game, and Slanesh does withdraw. Oh, the Bulldog Mount going in! And the Herald of Slanesh is in huge, huge danger. Oh my god, there are just three big angry Coronate warriors. But look at her running! How fast is she? 62 speed? The Khorne Cult is not able to catch her. So now the Herald of Khorne does have the Locust of Wrath. It's going to be giving a melee attack buff, is turning around to fight against the Soul Grinder of Slanesh. Herald, I don't know if he's going to be able to get away. Oh, here comes the Slaneshi sandwich as the other Soul Grinder does come in. Value lead for Evenstar is pretty substantial, but there are a lot of spawn in the battlefield still. You have a rampaging spawn here, and that's the big risky part about spawn, is they pretty much rampage indefinitely and just kind of chase things around the map. So if you don't get them in the right spot, they can just kind of berserk and chase off like some beat up unit instead of actually helping you in the main fight here. But it looks like the Evenstar Slanesh sandwich probably will be winning this day, as one cultist is taken out here. The other cultist of Khorne is in the danger zone as well, and the bloodletters are crumbling down. GG, well played. Game 1 is going to be going to Evenstar here in the grand finals as the Slanesh sandwich fulfills its job. Great game. Really, really fun match. Let's go ahead and take a look at the breakdown and see what the state of affairs is as it pertains to the value. All right. So the spawn, how'd they do? Not too great. Not too great. Not a single one of them paid for themselves. And the rest of the Coronate Army, I don't know if I'm a fan of the bloodletters. I feel like the regular Mortal Warriors are just so much better. Like, especially just the armor is so good. Because the Marauders of Slanesh were actually, like, though they didn't do great in value, they actually had something to trade with. Whereas against, like, armored Chaos Warriors, whether it be halberds or dual weapons or even shielded warriors, Slanesh is, you know, it's going to be a little bit tougher for them to trade outside of the Demonettes. But I really liked the play in the beginning from Hanniden's actually using the Furies this round. But yeah, this build is great. The double Soul Grinders seem to perform well. The smaller targets not investing so much in a big character. I think that was very, very good for the forces of Slanesh. So that's going to be one win here for Evenstar in the best of 5. And now the next map is going to be one of the waste maps. Yes, Waste of Khorne. Cool. Players can do their picks and bans. I don't know if the Wastes of Nurgle are actually a good map. That was a fun one, though. That was a fun one. I really enjoy that matchup. I think of all the new matchups, it's one of my favorites. I definitely think it's one of my favorites. So for anybody looking to participate in some tournaments, I'm going to be scheduling a couple tonight. So I'll put them up on the website, and you guys will be able to sign up from there if you're interested. There's going to be a land battle tournament on Wednesday, and probably a domination battle tournament a little bit later in the week. No, we're going to do Troll Run. Sorry, Troll Run. That was the map. All right. So the Troll Run is here. And good, we're all set. Eventually I'll memorize all the good maps. Dude, the Slicing Shards was really, really strong. I actually had not seen that ability really used to super good effect, but I guess it would have the similar effect to against the Mortals, because Slicing Shards has 100% armor piercing value. So against the Chaos Warriors, it'd be really, really good. Yeah, I think the starting funds in Domination are going to be increased pretty substantially, so I'm excited for that. Oh man, give us Ikit Claw back, I know. What if Skaven got an army ability where they could drop like a nuke in multiplayer? Imagine if they like built up enough like Warpstone charges, they could like just actually use it in Domination, and you're like trying to hold an objective and the Skaven just like drop a fat one on you. Oh my god, that'd be crazy. Yeah, Pone, that was, I think that was just because you were like being attacked by other units too. Also, Scarbrand in your 1v1 Pone was afflicted by the Soporific Musk, so his stats were lowered. In a 1v1, typically I think Scarbrand wins. It's close though, it's close. It depends on the magic too, because Inkari has magic, Scarbrand doesn't, so. Yeah, it's always fun. So what are the picks gonna be? This is a decent map for some shooting. Gonna have some water real quick while we hang tight. Delicious H2O. Oh, yeah. There you go. Hey, Brian, welcome, man. You made it just in time for the grand finals. Slicing Shards would be pretty good against a Nurgle blob. Yeah, probably so. Probably so. Like, it seemed to do some huge damage against demons, right? So it would theoretically be just as good against, like, the Nurgle demons, who really can't dodge you. They have 23 speed, and their reaction time is very slow. So I think that Slicing Shards could be pretty good there, too. Absolutely. You could also go with a Lord of Shadows character if you're playing Slanesh against Nurgle, and you can use Pit of Shades, which does a ton of damage against them. So lots of great choices. Evenstar with a really nice showcase of Slanesh. I want to know what the picks and bans are. What is it going to be? I know some gentlemen tend to take a long time. All right, one sec here, guys. My mods had a quick question for me. Cool, so we're all set there. Perfect. No questions, but Kislev is on the table. Zinc, Ogres. Ogres are not as dominant. Like, we've obviously had a lot of, you know, these land battle or domination tournaments, and I know a lot of people, based on the comments I've been reading, are very sick of seeing Ogres in like every game. And I agree with that sentiment. So In land battles, it's not as much of a thing. Because in land battles, ogres have a lot of natural predators, right? They can lose to Cathay pretty decisively. They can also lose to Kislev. Kislev has good shooting against them, and they're also pretty weak against Zinch. So there's a couple matchups that give them trouble, at least. So they're kind of kept in check a little bit better. And obviously, with Gorgers being limited to 2, it certainly, I think, is quite nice. The dreaded Nurgle blob was pretty scary. We saw Professor Pone take a game off Evenstar earlier with that. Nurgle, like I said, though, in land battles, really good against Khorne and Slanesh. Not so good against Kislev. It's a really hard matchup for them, but I actually was able to win with Nurgle against a really good Kislev player the other day, but it was like I felt like I had to work way harder than they did. And they made a lot of mistakes, too. So it's going to be Zinch for Hanadins, I think. Evenstar probably picking, I would imagine, like probably going to see Cathay or Kislev or someone like that would be the play for Evenstar here. I'm not quite sure the pick and ban order. Don't have it in front of me, but we saw a lot of Zinch early in the tournament. Zinch is very strong. Zinch is very, very strong. They have like the amount of shenanigans Zinch can pull is pretty insane. And Zinch, you know, can be beaten. Zinch and Ogre Kingdoms. Okay, I'm actually really curious. I think this matchup is Zinch favored. But Evenstar has had these really kind of interesting builds that we've seen. Like the double Soul Grinder with the smaller Lord was very different than what you normally see against Khorne. Also, why did we not see Khorne Dogs there? Khorne Dogs are so good against Slanesh. They're so good against Slanesh. Skaven army ability is they run away faster when broken. I know. I know. I like wonder, like, I feel like if we gave army abilities to all the old world factions, there'd be a ton of cool potential. I mean, some of them already have it, right? You have the Dark Elves who have Murderous Prowess, which is not great. High Elves just have like a super haggard one, like Martial Prowess. They literally just get worse when they start getting beat up, which is terrible. I think that could be reworked. Empire has Hold the Line, which is pretty bad. It's just like melee defense and leadership. It's like, whatever. Could be a lot more fun. The Empire should have the ability to summon an Elector count, and you click it, and he just like comes from off screen and just steel chairs someone. That'd be great. Like Boris Todbringer just appears all angry. Yeah, other army abilities, let's see. So yeah, Greenskins have the Wall, which I think is great. I think that one's a really good one. Skaven, they do not have the ability to summon rats from beyond, which would be super obnoxious. They would be kind of OP with that, I think. Kind of want to see a Rush Zinch build using Armor Sundering Spawn and Forsaken. So Lincoln, we have seen that today. I was watching Professor Pone play a couple of his games, and he did that. And it's really good against Cathay and also against Kislev, it can work well too. Like Spawn Forsaken rushes are very good because Forsaken have super high DPS against light armor, right? So the Spawn have Armor Sundering, so it lowers armor, and it's a really nice synergy. I mean, like Kislev doesn't need army abilities because their passive is really, really good, right? Like it's unique enough and it's very powerful, but like some do. Some do. It's kind of tricky to balance. Yeah, the Wall is awesome. High Elves have like one of the dumbest army abilities. Like Martial Prowess is so stupid. Oh man, it's just so bad. It's like here, like have some stats that you should have had anyways, but lose them when you get beat up. Yeah, it's just like it feels bad. I feel bad for High Elf players. They've truly suffered the most for our sins here. Playing High Elves is takes a certain kind of person to main them. All right, so looking around, yep. Is this the map that I thought it was? It's got this like water pond here. Yeah, I suppose it's not the best map in the world, but you know, you can't win them all, especially here in the Warhammer 3. Our map pool is very, very limited. I can't wait to see Greenskins in domination mode. That's gonna be so exciting to get all those factions in domination mode. It's gonna be so exciting. Like summoning Dowie gyrocopters in domination mode to support your front lines is gonna be so rad. Dwarf should get a global army ability. Grudge grumbling, yeah, that could be fun. Absolutely could be fun. Someone's like power loading right there. All right, so what is the Ogre attempt going to be against Zinch? We have a Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw with some Iron Blasters. No, a Iron Blaster, of course. Ogre Bulls with Iron Fists, who of course have some mitigation against missiles. And looks like it's going to be Noblars. Yeah, it's just like a huge Ogre Bull rush with a bunch of Noblars, a single Iron Blaster, and a single Man-Eater pistol. Huh, interesting take on the matchup. Interesting take indeed. Yeah, and the Slaughtermaster is a good choice. If you're not going for like Gorger play, which I think you don't really need here against Zinch, it's not very good against him. I think that the Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw is a good choice. You know, he's a pretty good fighter, a little bit cheaper, and gets the job done, and also is shielded, unlike Scrag, so he can block some of the shots coming in from the blues and all that sort of good stuff. Now, looking at the Zinch army here, it is going to be blue Horrors of Zinch backed up by pinks. Super meta, super standard. We have a Herald of Zinch with the blue fire and a couple Forsaken in the back. No spawn, though, which is quite interesting. Rather than that, we do see the Screamers. Screamers are anti-large armor piercing. Now, not the best unit in the world, but still, if they can, get a rear charge on some Ogres, which are fighting blues, for example, they can break that formation and do pretty well for you. So, good luck, have fun to both players. We will find out who shall emerge victorious. Currently in this series, Evenstar is up 1-0 in this best of 5, so plenty of room for Zinch to explore opportunities and try and get back on the old leaderboard. Somebody in chat asking about Slayers versus Ogres. I think they'll be awesome. I think Slayers will be quite good against Ogre Kingdoms. I would probably bring like 3 or 4, honestly. Yeah, just go with like Slayers, like a Longbeard front line, and, Blasting Charge front line to clear Noblars, and then just, some guns, and you're good. You're going to be very, very good indeed. So, predictions. Will the Ogre Kingdoms defeat Zinch? In my experience, this is a very, very favored matchup for Zinch. Like a 60-40. Iron Guts are kind of a cool tech choice, too, because Iron Guts do have a lot of armor, which means that against the blue and pinks, they're going to be a little bit more independent. Plus, obviously, Zinch really likes to use the Forsaken, and the Iron Guts are pretty good against those. They have good armor piercing, and they can do pretty darn good. So the Herald of Zinch moving up, Iron Blaster shooting into what appears to be the Blue Horrors. A very defensive position for the Ogre Kingdoms. Obviously, Zinch isn't one that's going to be like flanking you and getting terribly crazy and all sorts of stuff like that. They're just going to go right up, get concentrated firepower on your Ogres, and that will be the jam. Now, typically, you just see a Herald of Zinch for blue fire spam, because if you just spam blue fire over and over, it's really nice because it can basically get your Zinch army abilities up very, very quickly. And you're going to be able to cast the sniping ability as well as the big AoE ability, and all that great stuff. So the Iron Blaster shoots in, goes after some of the Forsaken of Zinch, and here comes the first shot. And, wow, that was weird. Holy shit, that was terrible. Like, every one of those blue fire shots missed. I don't think a single one hit. Wow, that's a really, really feel-bad moment there for Hanadins. So, Hanadins, I think, is going to probably start shooting blue fire here at the Slaughtermaster. The hitbox of the Iron Blaster was very strange there, but I would wager that, yeah, all these guys are just going to start shooting here. And yeah, the Zinch army is now moving up, and so too are the Ogres. So blue fire for the rest of this game probably is going to be used to shoot the Slaughtermaster. Oh, but look at that. The Maneater pistol is doing great work. Nice shooting there. The Herald of Zinch immediately gets his shields taken out and does also take quite a bit of damage. Those Maneater pistols are no joke. So Forsaken on the flanks, their shields are healing. They're OP Protoss shields. And some of the blue fire is actually being used on the Noblars, which I don't know if is the best. Here comes the blue fire, and now it's going to be heat-seeking onto the Lord. I don't know if Evenstar did that on purpose, but he actually hid his Slaughtermaster a little bit in the ranks of his units and did mitigate some of that firepower. And now Zinch is going to get its fully effective Death Star shooting here. But if they lose that Herald of Zinch, then, I mean, that could just be game over. Like, Zinch without his magic is really going to be hurting quite badly. So you got to be careful and just juke nonstop. Arcane Surge and Locus of Conjuration is active. Another blue fire will be coming, and the shields are going to start recharging at this point. On the far side, we do get Forsaken, holding back the Ogre Tide, while the pinks and other units get some nice salvo fire here into the Maneater pistols. And the Iron Blaster is just going to keep probably shooting at the Herald of Zinch and trying to finish him off and, catch his opponent slipping in micro. Because if you slip for even a second, you can get your bread buttered pretty bad. Now, Evenstar is up on value. Forsaken here getting hammered. These Forsaken are winning against Noblars, no surprises. And I would imagine another blue fire coming down. The blue fire does hit the Slaughtermaster, who did heal himself with the Great Maw. And now we do have the Screamers looking to get engaged. We have another idle Screamer on the side, who I think needs to get a little bit more active. And the Ogre Infantry seem to be tanking pretty well. They're saturating on top of the pinks and really, really forcing Hanadins to micro his forces backwards. But Zinch is kind of closing the gap in terms of value. I do love this playback here. Using Screamers on Maneaters is pretty cost-effective, for sure. Although the Screamers might even still lose this, but not with the casters supporting nearby. So having the Herald kind of flying in the shadows here should help. The Iron Blaster is also trapped up by a bunch of the Screamers who are going to be tearing that bad boy down. So they are certainly ripping them to shreds. The ground-based army of Zinch, though, is having a little bit more of a problem, although over here we do have some Forsaken and Blues who have kind of broken through the barrier. And the Iron Blaster is shut down, so too are the Maneaters, but you can see how good Maneaters are in combat, especially with the support that is being provided by the Noblar Trappers. So the Noblar Trappers here are throwing their little ninja stars into the back of the unarmored Screamers, who are just basically getting Shrek'd horribly. Now the blue fire probably going to be coming down soon. Maneaters do get the Troll Guts. Okay, very, very nice usage there. Troll Guts going down in the Maneaters is going to be allowing them to, not withdraw, but endure this kind of beatdown they're taking. And now the Herald of Zinch better be careful. The Maneaters are going to be turning their sights up to the Herald and will be shooting. The Overcast does get rid of the shield, as another blue fire does come down and does some really solid damage against that Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw. But the Ogre armies are cleaning up, and the Blues are getting worn down by the Ogre Bulls. Zinch doing pretty well in this flank engagement, really creeping up in value. The Iron Blaster is actually finished. Forsaken charging into the Noblars, trying to clear out some of the chaff units, while the other Screamer unit is used to try and shut down the Man-Eater pistols. Ooh, Forsaken of Zinch. This would be a really, really cost-effective charge if those 42 Forsaken hit the light armor of those Man-Eaters. But it looks like the Iron Fists will be surging in to take him down. And the big shoulder checks and the clobbering time is among us, as the Forsaken of Zinch could be taking quite a big beating there. Now, is there going to be any way to finish off the Man-Eater pistols? Oh no, the Iron Blaster is back. He didn't finish it. Oh man, it's going to be ripping a shot. It's juking, 1200 HP on the Herald. At least it's moving. The Iron Blaster sees its prize, and the Butcher ability is used. So the Tier 3 army ability for the Ogre Kingdoms is used on the Iron Blaster, which is going to be healing. And this little Herald of Zinch is basically dodging for his life here, just trying to live. Trying to live, that's for sure. Blue Fire going down, going to be hitting the Slaughtermaster once again, who gets hit with the Troll Guts. Currently, Ogre Kingdoms are in a pretty dominant position. The value may be close, but the healing is a big factor as well. We've seen Butcher, we've seen several Troll Guts, which does mitigate a lot of that value. And on the far side, they got some Screamers, but the Ogre Kingdoms have done a really good job, and Evenstar has cleared out much of the infantry here. And yeah, the Pink Horrors in the back, I believe that's a natural unit, are just being surrounded and beaten down by Noblars and Ogres. So many good engagements for the Ogre Kingdoms all across the battlefield for sure. 800 HP on the Herald of Zinch. He is certainly on death's bed. Ogre Kingdoms do have a fair amount of shooting. The Iron Blaster is back in business. Zinch not quite able to finish it. Oh, the ripped shot! It does hit him, but only one cannonball kind of clipped him. Very, very lucky there. And the Herald of Zinch is going to be unleashing the army ability, I believe. Yes, it's going to be the army ability there, which should pop right on the head there of that Iron Blaster. Is there any way that Zinch can get this? I mean, I feel like the Ogres are in a very commanding position with the Slaughtermaster being alive, and he didn't chase the Iron Blaster off. That was a pretty colossal mistake, letting that thing come back. Zinch still scrapping. Ogres, though, they're looking to eat. Even though demons apparently in lore do not provide any sustenance, it's still a symbolic gesture to feast on some of these this mighty chicken that is being provided by this Zinch army. And Evenstar is going to be going up 2-0. GG, well played. Great match. You rarely see Ogres win that one in land battles, but that was a really, really good showcase of aggression. Like, the Ogres were really making a huge effort to stay on top of the shooting. And also the Noblar little kind of goon squad did really well. They were actually buffering quite well and distracting shooting units. I really like the Screamer play from Hanniden's as well. I feel like he did a good job with the Screamers, and they all did great. 1300, 700, I mean, yeah, Screamers were awesome. Herald was great too. Maybe took a little bit too much damage in the beginning. But overall, I think the Pinks and the Blues being compromised was the big deciding factor. So, now, let us go ahead and update the scorecard. It is going to be going to Game 3 in this best of 5. And now the map is going to be the Wastes of Slanesh. Yes. Oh wait, where is it? Was that the next map, or was it the Wastes of Khorne? I know that there's a decent map called the Bloodfen. You can give this one a try here. Just desperately looking for good maps. It's so hard. We'll do the Bloodfen. Is Slanesh good against Zinch? No. Zinch like hard counters Slanesh. Yeah, absolutely. So we will see what Evenstar can do. Will he be able to clinch the series, or will he be reverse sweeped by his foe, by Hanniden's? We'll find out. It's a best of 5. It's not over. We got more games. Correct. Correct indeed. We're taking a look here. Hanniden's apparently has a bug with his game where if he doesn't restart his game in between matches, he actually like crashes. It's very, very strange. So I've had him in tournaments a couple times where he has to restart his computer. So just hang tight. Orcs don't desire anything else, so Chaos has got no hold. Yeah. Kind of makes sense. No, he doesn't think it's over, I don't think. I'm going to double check. I think he's just restarting his game. Let me check here. All right. I think he knows it's best of 5, just a reminder. Cool, yeah, he's back. He just had to restart his game. Also, 40k orcs are basically a sentient fungus. Yeah, I'm sure Chaos doesn't know what to do with it. So what's left on the table? We've seen the Ogre Kingdoms for Evenstar. We've seen him play Slanesh. Obviously, in terms of power picks, like we still have Kislev on the table. We still have, Zinch for him if he wants to. Lots of great choices. Hanniden's, I would imagine a Kislev pick will come out soon. I don't know what Hanniden's is really, really good at in terms of the best factions. I've obviously seen Hanniden's doing super well in tournaments, but I don't know what his power pick is. I've seen Evenstar quite a bit. Evenstar is quite good at most of the powerful factions like Ogres and Zinch and things like that. Lincoln, I haven't seen that show. I've been recommended it, though, quite a bit. You can't corrupt a mushroom. Yeah, it's kind of a funny concept, right? Hey, Joshua, thank you for the $9.99. Appreciate the donation. You the man? Hey, right back at you. You're the man as well. Thank you, Joshua. Hopefully you're enjoying the tournament. Love the land battles. Let's go. Yeah, land battles, I think, are a little bit more fun to watch than domination. But domination is a little bit easier to host because you don't have to police it, and it's also an easier barrier of entry for the players. So both of the formats have, like, you know, their advantages, I would say. Yeah, you loaded back in pretty quick. Pretty quick. Does that mean if the ogres are feasting on orcs, they're eating vegetables? You know, now we're getting really, really deep and some solid philosophy going on. Who knows? Yeah, 40k orcs and fantasy orcs are pretty similar in terms of their lore, right? You know, they're very fighty and they're both fungi and all that kind of stuff. So Evenstar already played Slanesh in this series. He's sitting on Slanesh right now, maybe just kind of showing his representation there, what his jam is. But we'll see what Evenstar wants to do. We will see. The old Slaneshi forces. Quite good in that earlier matchup. Slanesh has actually been perceived as many to be a counter in domination mode. Not a counter, but a functional pick against Ogre Kingdoms, which was kind of cool. They do have a lot of good anti-large. Like the cheap anti-large cav, the Marauder Spears are very cost-effective. They have a lot of really cool stuff against Ogre Kingdoms. I think when Slanesh's chariots get fixed and they actually work properly, like Slanesh is going to be a really powerhouse faction. Because the problem right now is their chariots just don't work. So they're very weird and they just don't do damage. So when the chariots and their collision mechanics get fixed, I think that Slanesh will like raise up like a whole tier in terms of their efficiency. Whereas the webcam, you know, I don't usually use a webcam because I usually just get out of bed and I just start casting, you know. Well, I mean, obviously I've been up since 8 a.m. running the tournament, but I don't know, man. I like to wild man it. You know, just hanging out in my boxers and drinking a tea, doing the jam. Yeah, so that's more or less the plan. I'm really curious what the pick is going to be, though, for this next match. Could perhaps see a Cathay. I think this map has some relatively open field kind of situations where some cannons and other shooting could be on the field. Hanadins and Evenstar, yep, still working it out. Cool. And boom. Looks like Khorne is on the table for Evenstar versus Ogre Kingdoms. Ooh. So Evenstar kind of finding his way into a couple hard matchups via Zinc versus Ogres, but still finding a way to win it. Still finding a way to win it here. I'm really curious when the old world factions are added back in, like how often people are going to be playing these new ones. Or if like the meta is going to be dominated by the older factions, which have more fleshed out rosters. I feel like a couple of them will be pretty steady. I feel like Khorne is going to be fine into a ton of matchups for sure. Like Khorne versus Bretonnia feels totally fine, right? Like you have really good halberds, really good infantry, armor, you know, all that sort of good stuff. Man, oh man, I'm so hungry right now. All I had for breakfast was like a couple like Triscuits. And like, I think like a quarter of a banana or something. And I just started casting. Yeah, that's basically it. That's basically it. Turn, have you any new games you have thought about casting and playing? Yeah, like if an RTS game is released, I will for sure be interested in covering it, a new RTS game. On top of that, there's a game I kind of want to cover on the channel, which is called Songs of Conquest. It looks like a kind of a spiritual successor to Heroes of Might and Magic 3. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but I want to get the wife, Lady Turin, and I want to get a crew together and play that. Because she's actually really good at the Heroes games. She's the one who got me back into them. I played them as a kid, but, you know, obviously in Poland and, you know, Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is super popular. Do you think we'll eventually get a Halfling expansion? You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Halflings come eventually. I wouldn't be surprised. If I think it might seem like a meme, but I think down the road we could see it. Who eats a quarter of banana? Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it, so I just didn't finish it. I don't like bananas that much. I used to eat them just because of sports to get the old potassium, but I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of bananas. So yeah, Khorne against Ogres, the old meta is basically just using a bunch of halberds with spawn. But I think a lot of it just comes down to the hound play. Like, how good are you with your corn dogs? Are you getting winning engagements? And that's really it. That really seems to be the big deciding factor. Songs of Conquest looks amazing. It does. Yeah, I was streaming Heroes of Might and Magic 3, but then I kept getting copyright slammed for literally playing their soundtrack from the game while I was streaming it. Like, I don't know if the original soundtrack guys like are going like just trying to collect money off the soundtrack, which, you know, I guess because most game studios don't care about that, right? Because they want you to play their games and all that and show them. But I kept getting copyright. I was literally just had the Inferno soundtrack like playing through the game, and I got like copyright slammed like 3 or 4 times for that. And I was like, what the hell, man? Like, come on. This game's like 30 years old. So that was kind of annoying. So that was one of the reasons why I stopped doing it. But I do think I might get back to like a really chill kind of Heroes of Might and Magic stream. I would just play without the soundtrack, which sucks because the soundtrack's like the most nostalgic part. I don't know. Maybe I just bite the bullet and I just take the copyright slam. Yeah, maybe I do that. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. It just kept happening. It wasn't a copyright strike. So on YouTube, there's 2 different kinds. You have the copyright strike, which is really bad. That if you get 3 of those, your channel gets terminated. And even as you get like 1 or 2 copyright strikes, they'll stop sharing your YouTube channel in the algorithm. Like, so that's really bad. A copyright claim is what I got. It just means that like you're using somebody who owns the intellectual property has like made a claim against you. So what that means is you get to keep your video up. But all the revenue from that video, ad revenue, like everything goes to that person instead. So you're basically just funneling money to this like third party. So like if I were, for example, to play like, you know, a Limp Bizkit song on stream, the owners might allow me to play it on stream, but then every ounce of revenue from the stream would go to them. And then on top of that, they would also not share the video as much because it has a copyright claim on it. So it's like really bad for your channel, obviously. Just play with no sound. The sound is like the best part though, which really sucks. Yeah. I'm actually a space duck. Oh, that's interesting. I would love to explore space. You should do a Magic the Gathering stream. I thought about doing one. Yeah, maybe with one of the new sets. Well, that's why I stopped using the Doom intro, just to be safe. I never ran into any issues. And what's really crappy on YouTube is like you don't have to actually be the owner of the copyright to put a claim against someone, right? Yeah, there's tons of fake claims. So I got a claim on the Total War Warhammer soundtrack from like some weird third-party company that like was super shady. And the problem is if you want to contest that claim, you have to like submit all your personal info and like all this crazy stuff, and like it's this whole process, and it's really actually quite stressful. So there's a big market of like these shady companies just going around on YouTube just randomly claiming shit and hoping that the creators will be too afraid to actually contest it. Yeah, it's really, really dumb. Oh my God, I hate that shit so much. Thankfully, it hasn't affected me that much, but it happens to a lot of people. A lot of people. I'll have to copyright my chat messages. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty funny. All right, guys. So, enough is enough. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Ogre Kingdoms facing off against Khorne. As far as the Ogre army goes, it is going to be a Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw. Lead Belchers, Man-Eater Pistols, very, very standard stuff. Shooting is very good against Khorne. And the Iron Blaster is like a constant threat. If this thing is able to sit and shoot at your lord or characters and things like that, you can really, really take some serious damage for sure. Saber Tusks and Noblars, a little bit of flank control. Saber Tusks are kind of like Walmart corn dogs, but they're not that much worse, honestly, and they cost 200 less, so it's a pretty good deal. Now, I would say that this is probably an Ogre-favored matchup, like a 60-40. Granted, Khorne can win it, and we have Evenstar in Khorne, so he is obviously was the Warhammer 2 World Champion. He won the Warhammer 2 World Championship, which is kind of the pinnacle of competitive play. Obviously has lost some tournaments here and there, but is here to get vengeance for some of those defeats, and he is here with Skarbrand the Exiled. Front line's going to be Bloodletters of Khorne. Chaos Warriors with Halberds. We got Spawn as well. The meta has been Halberds and Spawn, but it would appear he's going with Bloodletter Infantry, which shouldn't be that good against Ogres, but maybe the idea is they cut through the chaff very quickly and allow you to get to some of the squishier parts in the army here. Now, in the bushes, we got Fleshhounds of Khorne. We got Chaos Furies up in the sky, and some Khorne Dogs hiding in the bushes, looking to unleash the carnival feasting onto the old Ogres. Look at this. The Gorgers. The dreaded Gorgers waiting in ambush. Look, both players are Vanguard deploying. He's like got Furies over there. That's going to be really funny that he's going to like discover those like right away. It's kind of an interesting map. I mean, it's not the best map in the world, but honestly, it looks really cool. Like the forests are quite neat. You know, I think this one is definitely passable. Like this position, I would say is a little bit better if you're like a shooting army, and this one's better if you're like a melee army because you have force to work with. But if the roles were reversed and a shooting army were down here and a rush army were up top, it would be very, very tough for the shooting army because the forest and the terrain and a lot of areas to like push through. Yeah, Saber Tusks are very, very beast mode. If we take a look at Corn Dogs, for example, they are 38, 26, 65, and these guys are 38, 28, 70. So the Saber Tusks are actually a little bit better in terms of just pure combat output, but the thing is, they both have, I believe, similar armor. I think Corn Dogs are about 30. Yeah, they have similar armor, but Corn Dogs have physical resist. They also have magical resist, and they're an unbreakable demon unit, and they don't rampage. So there's a lot of advantages that Corn Dogs have over the Saber Tusks. Like, you have a little bit more control over those. So the battle's underway. Obviously, Khorne's going to have to advance. The Furies do discover the goodies here. Oh, I love this. I love this so much. Look at the Fleshhound Vanguard in the corner. Just watching through the trees, just creeping. Look at the Hounds of Khorne. These models are so cool. And that shot, like against kind of the mist, that is a really, really cool shot. Definitely, the game has a lot of beautiful stuff in it. So the Khorne army's moving up. Here comes the old spawn of Khorne. Going to be getting iron blasted. The blasting of iron. And these guys are going to be ripping some big shots. And that's going to hurt pretty bad. Multiple spawn being hit, but none of the models did fall. Skarbrand the Exiled going to be emerging from the trees. Obviously, the Ogres have a very comfortable position back here. And yeah, they're just kind of hanging out, man. Ogres don't need to be aggressive. But here comes the Corn Dog ambush. Got to be careful, though. Saber Tusks will trade pretty decently. And on top of that, the Gorgers will be very, very good against them as well. So the Gorgers backed up by Saber Tusks should be a pretty favored engagement here. Now, the Khorne Flyers, the Furies up in the sky as the Bloodletters do approach. Skarbrand taking no damage here as he does get close, I think is quite good. But what's going to happen is that the Iron Blaster is just going to get a huge hard-on and just start shooting at Skarbrand here. Oh, big shot. Skarbrand's taking some big work. That's got to hurt pretty bad. As Hanadins is getting some very, very nice value. In the front, we do get the Bloodletters of Khorne, and, you know, this is kind of the thing. Like, Halberds would probably beat both these units, whereas the Bloodletters are kind of getting crumped. So those Ogres are going to be feasting. They're certainly shrekking them quite good. Also, Skarbrand is getting spanked pretty badly. It seems like the build execution here for Hanadins is working quite a bit better. We do see the Fleshhounds of Khorne diving in with some Furies, desperately trying to shut down some of the shooting and Man-Eater pistols. Rage Embodied is active, so Skarbrand does get the Rampage off, but he's like fully surrounded. He has like no support. If there was like a Cultist here or something, I think this could be much better for him. But yeah, Wrathful Reaper obviously gives him like 900 weapon strength. He's going to be hitting like a truck, but he's surrounded. And I mean, maybe if he kills the Slaughtermaster and somehow the old Iron Blaster in the back were to be shut down, I suppose Evenstar is kind of closing up the value a little bit. The fighting in the middle is going very good for Khorne at least. Bloodletters with Spawn are doing well, but the pure Bloodletters, you know, not a bad trade all things considered. Ogre Bulls plus Noblars do cost less than those guys. And then the Fleshhounds come in for the cleanup here. Very nice play by Evenstar. A huge flank in the back, able to break them, and now the Bloodletters have gotten through. So perhaps I was a little bit wrong about the performance of the Bloodletters. I think especially when you mix them in with the Spawn, they do well. And Furies, in my experience, are one of the best counters that Khorne has against Gorgers. Gorgers are very lightly armored, and Furies of Khorne hit very hard. So I think that is good. Now Skarbrand's back here. It's going pretty deep, actually. The Slaughtermaster getting taken to town, and look at this, guys. Evenstar is creeping back, making me eat my words as it pertains to my analysis here. And Skarbrand the Exiled certainly laying a pretty big beatdown on that Slaughtermaster, despite being surrounded by Gorgers and other very, very strong units here. Now on the other side, the Bloodletters of Khorne battling against the Ogre Bulls, and seem to be having a decent trade there as they do clear through these units. And Khorne is now turning the table here as the Iron Blaster is running and trying to find an angle to shoot. So you can see the Iron Blaster is moving. Saber Tusks are being used to intercept Skarbrand. Skarbrand just absolutely took out that Slaughtermaster. That thing got taken down hard. But Skarbrand, he jukes the shot. What a clutch dodge right there. But Dismember is active. Dismember is active on Skarbrand. That's going to be lowering his speed by a massive amount, by 60%. Noblar's getting in front to kind of trap him up. Khorne fighting pretty hard, but Ogres are once again pulling ahead in the balance of power here. And again, the Ogres do have healing, but nice pushing as the Spawn of Khorne continue to do some massive damage against the Gorger unit supported by infantry. Gorgers and Halberds moving on to the Man-Eaters, which are now going to be forced to run. And the Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw here is being chased down by the Chaos Furies. So this bad boy is going to be hunted to the Shadow Realm for sure. As Skarbrand the Exiled, the Hound of Khorne, is on the way to get that Iron Blaster. The Ogre is going to be trying to intercept here, using their big guts to block the big boy. A little bit of a misplay by Evenstar, but not much. He does have some Fleshhounds which are chasing down Noblars on the edge, but here they come. And I mean, if this thing is running, it's not, you know, it's not shooting, right? So even if like neither of them are damaging each other, this is a huge win for Skarbrand, basically to keep that thing offline. So Scarbrand's going to have to get some good juking. Back in the pit fight here, Ogres are still just barely ahead. Spawn of Khorne do have 6 models. The Halberds, though, I think could turn the tail of the tape here as they do now get entrenched against the Gorger units, and the Spawn are finally supported. But the Man-Eater pistols could be the game winners here as they unleash those huge pistol shots into Scarbrand. 1400 HP, he's on the hunt. Value lead for the Ogres becoming more and more substantial as the Man-Eater pistols do take down Scarbrand, who has put this game on his back. He's been trying to carry this game. Hounds are on their way back in, and now the Furies have jumped on top of the Man-Eater pistols. Nice little rampage right there. Gonna rampage some of the Ogre Bulls, but Scarbrand is so low. He's at like 1,000 HP, and that Iron Blaster is just rolling, summoning its inner Limp Biscuit as it does dodge these shots. Is there any chance? Oh no. Oh no, not like this. Oh man. He's gonna get shot in the face. It's going. I think it's obstructed though. Yeah, it doesn't want to shoot. The Ogres are too big. You gotta be careful, Scarbrand. Oh my god. We're just watching. The anticipation. It doesn't want to shoot its fellow Ogres. Truly a loyal pilot here on the Iron Blaster, but as soon as Scarbrand gets through, maybe Scarbrand should just chill there. Yeah, he's trying to get on the Iron Blaster, but it was obstructed. Ogres are big, right? So now Scarbrand's going to be fighting here. Could Khorne bring this game back? It looks like the Ogre army is kind of falling apart. I really thought they were going to take that game when the Man-Eater pistols were shooting Scarbrand. This game is an emotional roller coaster. So Halberd's pushing across. Spawn still battling the last of the Gorgers. Here comes the point-blank shot. Only one of the cannons hit, so the other spray shots did miss. The Iron Blaster is on the run again, trying to juke, but Scarbrand, like I said, the Hound of Khorne, he smells blood and is chasing down that Iron Blaster, trying to keep it from shooting. The point-blank shot didn't quite work out. Still a lot of Halberds on the table. Khorne does have Hounds also, and more Bloodletters. This is going to be really tight. Like, honestly, it really just comes down to this here. I think the Man-Eater should just turn and try and finish off Scarbrand in melee. The Spawn back here fighting against the Ogre Bulls. If the Iron Blaster lives, I think that Hanadins gets the win, because the Halberds are just going to get taken apart by that. Although there are some Hounds of Khorne. Scarbrand, though, fighting to the bitter end here. Just absolute insanity. Oh, Relentless Rage! That's such a metal play! Oh, baby. Oh, but it must have worn off. He must have casted it earlier, because it brought him to 1 HP and kept him from dying. So I think Relentless Rage had been popped earlier, but in the end, that is going to be a victory for Hanadins. Yeah, because the Relentless Rage kept him from dying from the shots. At least that one shot, but then obviously it wore off and he just died because he was at 1 HP. Oh my god, that was a cool game. GG, well played. Taking a look at the breakdown. Iron Blaster got 1300 value. A really valiant attempt. But how did the Bloodletters do? Would a Halberd front line have just been better? Maybe so. But we need to see it kind of replicated in a similar experience. Yeah, the shooting kind of got shut down. Man-Eater pistol is really, really strong. Crazy close game. GG, well played. And we'll see you guys in the next one. So, now we are back here. Multiplayer battle. Update the scorecards. Hanadins is on the board here. Will there be the dreaded reverse sweep? So let's go ahead here. We've done 3 maps here. Now let us do the wastes. We haven't done any of the waste maps here in the grand finals. So the Waste of Khorne will come in. We'll get this going. That was a really good game. That was a really, really good game. Close one. Very hotly contested. And looking at the tournament chat, we have no questions from the players, so I think we're good. I think we're just hanging out. And this is a battle to see who's going to be taking over the second place on the leaderboard. Who will be our number 2 champ. Next game, indeed. The Furies needed to chase the Iron Blaster instead of the Lord. Maybe, yeah, maybe. If the Lord had come back, though, and gotten a Troll Guts off, that could have sealed the deal. Because the Ogres is coming to get you, just barely. Evenstar worked really hard for that, but wasn't quite able to get it. I think we do need more Doom Wheels. Yeah, absolutely. Doom Wheels are obviously a very essential part of the Warhammer experience. Yeah, Iron Blasters are very strong. They're very hard to snipe. They're very fast. Something 60 speed, yeah. Have I tried out Iron Harvest? I haven't. I haven't tried it. I don't know why. I just, the aura that I kind of got from the, like a lot of people around me told me it was like fun, but also it's just like, I don't know. Something about it didn't click. Is there base building in Iron Harvest? Like, can you build a base? That's what I really like. I love base building RTSs. I mean, I love Total War, obviously, but if I'm going to cover something different, I want to have some base building in it to get a little bit of a different perspective. How does it work with them picking the races? Here, so you can go to the website, our tournament website, and you can go to the actual tournament itself, and you can read about the picks and bans and all that. But typically how it works is one player will pick 2 factions. They'll be like, I pick Khorne and Cathay. Then their opponent, who has the advantage of the counter pick, will pick 1 faction to play against both of those. And then once they have picked, the individual who picked the 2 initially will pick one of their 2 factions. Yeah. Iron Guts. I believe Iron Guts have 54 speed. They have 54. Like all the ogres have 54 speed except the lead belchers, which are in the low 40s. They have like 41 or 42 or something. It's similar to Dawn of War 2. No proper base building though. You could build around your spawn and Iron Harvest. Okay, got it. Got it. Thank you guys. Yeah, that was a good match. Even Star knows him. He knows I'm hungry and he's punishing me. He's like, no, we have to make this go to game 5 so Turin never gets to eat. Yeah, absolutely. How many factions are there in Iron Harvest? How many do we have? Is there like 3 or 4? I think there was 3. There was like a Rus one, a Polish one, and then like a German one. In terms of the factions. Yeah, I didn't hear great things about it. I didn't hear great things. But yeah, I'm always on the eye. I always got my eye out for like RTS games and things to cover. That's real-time strategy is my favorite genre. It's the best. It needs people to keep fighting for it because it is a genre that's certainly very niche now, comparatively speaking. Looks like Evenstar is going to be Zinch for this next matchup. He has selected Zinch. I don't know what Henniden's is going to pick, but we will find out here in a second. Romulan Dog, Age of Empires 2. Yeah. It has 4 factions. Okay, that's 4. Got it. Yeah, so there's 4 playable factions. Ogre Artillery is like Age of Empires 4. It really is, dude. Yeah, it's just like all fast and impossible to catch and just like one-shots everything. Yeah. I haven't, Julian. I haven't. Man, I would love to just get like a huge... I mean, we just had Age of Empires, which was really fun. But like I'm talking like a League of Legends level support type, like where the company actually really cares and patches it like, frequently for multiplayer. I would love to get an RTS game like that. Like Relic puts a little bit of effort into Age for sure. We get a patch like every 3 or 4 months, I guess. But like you can't have game breaking issues in a competitive game for like 3 or 4 months. Like the worst thing ever is when the community has to police a game. I mean, Total War, it's understandable because the game was designed. It's a single player game by design, but we've created an awesome multiplayer community. And as such, Creative Assembly responded and gave us a multiplayer game mode, and they now actively balance for multiplayer. So we've come a long way. So it's a very different relationship with Creative Assembly for sure. But like, if you're making a game that's purely designed for multiplayer and it doesn't get updated like for months, and there's just game breaking issues, like man, I think that's partially what kind of slowed the roll of Age of Empires, right? Romulan, it's a little known precursor to 4, yeah. Age of Empires 2 could be fun. I don't know. I played it as a kid. I'd have trouble getting back into it, I'd have trouble getting back into it, I think. So, Grand Cathay versus Zinch. I really like this matchup. I think it's very fun. Cathay is obviously going to have their cannons and, Jade Warriors and all sorts of good stuff. And Zinch is probably just going to go with the Forsaken Spawn Rush. I think that's meta in this matchup, and it's very, very strong. Very, very strong. Pious Skeleton. Yeah, thank you for the breakdown of the factions. Have you ever tried War Selection on Steam in an RTS with... what is it called? Have you ever tried War Selection? It's on Steam in an RTS with country and it's multiplayer. Let me look it up real quick. I'll look it up on the old Google. When did it come out? Is it out yet? 2019. Okay, it's a compelling RTS game. I'm afraid to click on it because I don't want all the jump scares of the sounds. How was it received? Do people still play it? That's the thing. I would want to be able to jump onto ladder and see. I'll check the Steam store real quick. Hopefully I don't get jump scared. Oh, it's a free to play game. Okay, interesting. Huh, that's kind of interesting. It has very positive reviews. Why is it not more popular? I'm looking at it right now. It has very, very good reviews. Although there are some negative ones as well. It's good for a free game type thing. Okay. Still worth a look though. Still worth a look. Age 4 is patching like super. Yeah, it was rough. It was definitely rough, Romulan. Like I actually like basically quit playing Age of Empires when the animation canceling thing was happening. I just hated it so much. I got so bitter towards the game. Because like nothing feels worse than just like, certain units, like some faction spears work, some don't. And then like some factions can abuse animation canceling and just like basically cheat with these units, you know, and it's being like condoned and competitive, and I was just like, you know what, I don't like this. It's too hard to police too, the animation canceling thing. But it's gone now, but that was there for a long time. So yeah, it's going to be Zinc versus Grand Cathay here in the Grand Finals Game 4. What game is this? Currently, this is Total War Warhammer, although I don't know if you're asking about the subject matter we've been discussing. I feel like base building, yeah. I played the original. I played Red Alert Command and Conquer 2. That was probably the one I played the most. I did play Tiberium Sun, I think is what it was called, the one before it, but Red Alert 2 is the one I put the most hours into. Nothing beats the Red Alert 2 soundtrack. That was so good. At least watch some gameplay. I will, Brian. I'll take a look. I'll take a look for sure. I'll go look on like Twitch or something and see if anybody's playing it later. So Grand Cathay against Zinc. This is a matchup that I think is actually much closer to even. Zinc is just much more oppressive in domination. But when bigger armies are at play, I feel like they're more balanced. I definitely feel like they're more balanced. I never played Divinity, no. Original Sin, yeah, I didn't play that one. If I'm going to be playing like kind of an RPG style game, it would probably be Heroes of Might and Magic 3 with my wife. Yeah, we love playing that together. We haven't done it in a long time. She's been going just absolutely ham on Elden Ring. So she's been slaying Elden Ring pretty hardcore. I think she's almost beaten the game, I'm not sure. But once she finishes that, we'll probably go back to playing like HOM 3. I think a HOM 3 stream would be really fun to do soon. Total Annihilation soundtrack was really good. Yeah, was it? That fixed, but when you went back to Age of Empires. Yeah, Romulan, I always remember you were always a big advocate for Age of Empires. When we had similar discussions here on the channel pertaining to subject matter to cover, you always were shouting out Age of Empires. Yeah, Warcraft 3 is still a great classic RTS game. I think Warcraft 3 is just so good. It's such a fun game. Like the flavor of all the heroes you get, it kind of like tickles that same pickle that Warhammer does. In Warhammer, you get obviously heroes, like so you really get to kind of feel that hero represents your army, and you get that same feel in Warcraft 3, which is I think why those are my two favorite games. Like I liked Wings of Liberty a lot, but something about having a hero character was really fun, like a Blade Master, you know, or a Farseer. Baldur's Gate, yeah, I would definitely play the new when the new Baldur's Gate actually releases. I'll for sure do a couple streams of it with Anna. Yeah, my wife plays that. Her and I both played Shadows of Am, and she knows the lore very well and is like, yeah, really into it. Gojira says, I suck at Heroes of Might and Magic 3, but I'm down to suffer. Well, it's because you play one of the hardest factions, and we always like play for the late game. So Gojira likes to play Stronghold, which is the Crag Hack and the Barbarian faction. Is that Stronghold? Yeah, it's Stronghold, right? Yeah. I am an Inferno player, so I truly like to suffer. I basically just rush the Ifrits and yeah, just roll with that when I'm playing HOM 3. Bannerlord's a fun game. I enjoyed it when it first came out. I really enjoyed Captain's Mode. We had a couple sessions where we would get the crew and we would go play Captain's Mode games, and it was really fun when it first came out. Yeah, those were some good times. That was a couple years ago. Yeah, StarCraft 2 was really good in Wings of Liberty. I stopped playing when I got Masters in StarCraft 2. And then I stopped playing when the second expansion came out. I just kind of lost interest. I don't know why. Oh, okay, Romulan. Very cool. Yeah, it's a good warm-up game for you. Oh, that's pretty cool, Brian. Yeah, that definitely sounds like it could be up my alley. Let's see. What is my favorite unit in Heroes of Might and Magic 3? So I really enjoy the Ifrits because they're just so powerful and so fast, but using the Devils is really fun too because they can like teleport anywhere and like backstab things. Yeah, they're really fun. The great part about these guys taking like 2 hours to pick their armies is that we get to hang out and chat about nonsense. Yeah, Ifrits are really cool. Anna plays Rampart. She's really good at them. Rampart, I think, is super good. Like getting the upgraded elves and like this, they have one of the best tier 1 units in the game. Like Centaurs are so good. Whereas like Inferno just has like the most trash unit ever, like the Imp. The Imp is just so bad. Yeah, I mean, yeah, who cares about faction balance in HOM 3? It's just ridiculous. If you're looking for a quick one, check out Rusted War. Okay. That's kind of fun, Optimus. Thank you. I'll take a look. I might try Dawn of War 2. And I know Dawn of War 2 still has a pretty big community as well, right? Like, still a lot of people play that. God, I wish we could just get like a new good Dawn of War game. Like I wish Dawn of War 3 hadn't like kind of sucked. We were so close to greatness. RTS has just come so close. We get Dawn of War 3 and then they just stop supporting it and just give up on it. And then we get like Age of Empires with like patches every 5 years. And it's just like, oh, you're so close to greatness. You know, so close. I did play Dungeon Keeper when I was a kid. Yeah, that game was awesome. The original one? Oh, yeah, dude. Carlos, usually on tournaments, I don't close with FFAs. Plus, I'm like starving. I've been running this tournament for, let's see, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, about 7 or 8 hours I've been running this event. So definitely need to get some lunch after this. But I will be doing more streams probably on Monday. I'm going to take tomorrow off. Have a nice little day out with the lady. But yeah. Okay, I'm not using a screen blocker. I'm always paranoid about that. Elite mod is pretty awesome. We need Dawn of War 1 remastered. Star Wars Empire at War. Yeah, I think I may have tried that Pious Skeleton. I am like definitely interested in maybe doing Dawn of War 2, like with the mod that adds in like all the cool factions. So for anybody who's played Dawn of War, and this will be my last comment on it until we're waiting again. Can you play like Death Guard and Night Lords and like specific legions, and do they have like unique traits? Yeah, I'd be really interested. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this map definitely not the best. Obviously, one faction kind of has a slight high ground advantage, but it's not too bad. Again, we got to work with what we got. Looking at the forces of Evenstar, it is going to be a bunch of blue horrors backed up by pinks. Quite curious, because I always thought the shooting of Zinc wasn't super good against Cathay because of the armor that Cathay tends to have and the shields and things like that. And now looking in the back, we got Forsaken. We do also have Chaos Furies and Screamers of Zinc, as well as an Exalted Lord of Change, a Cultist of Zinc, who is going to be bringing Burning Head, actually. Okay, so there's some magic on that Cultist. And the Zinc caster just has Blue Fire, which is very, very standard, right? Just spam that on their Lord the entire game and live long and prosper. Over here, we do have some Chaos Furies of Zinc, more and more flying goodness, and that is it. So really kind of a standard army. I'm surprised we're not seeing any spawn. Blues, Pinks, and Forsaken, backed up by a big chicken. That's basically it. And now if we look at the forces of Grand Cathay, it is going to be Jade Warrior Crossbowmen. We got 3 of those. Oh, but look at this. He also has the Celestial Crossbows, the big armor-piercing boys. I like that. Double Long Marauder and a Dragon-Blooded Lord of Missile Reflection, I think. Wow, with the Ancestral Summon. Okay. Halberds in the back, and that is the tail of the tape for these 2 armies. Now again, if they advance and like fight on this hill, I don't think anybody's going to have like a terribly substantial advantage. And it's not like the Blues are like a charge bonus, like downhill unit that really is going to be terribly punishing for sure. Terribly punishing. But I definitely dig it. Thank you guys for the answers pertaining to Dawn of War. No, you okay? So they have like skins for the different factions and things like that. Gojiro says so you can play heroes that are aligned with factions through their playstyle, but not to that level of customization. You do have an army painter though. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, there's a gentleman who casts Dawn of War 2 who's really good, and I used to watch his cast. I think his name is like Indrid or something. It's been a long time since I've looked, but he has a really cool channel, and he's like very passionate about it from what I can tell. Yeah. So it should be cool. So the battle's underway. Both armies going to be moving up here, just waddling ever so slowly towards one another. As Cathay is very entrenched here. They don't have a cannon though, so they're going to have to move up soon. Both armies will need to move here. I wish there was some sort of a way I could like write like, oh, I have the dreaded markers. Yes. Oh yeah, baby. Look at this. Indrid cast. That's what it is. Yeah. So I can do like smiley faces and things like that. Look at that. Okay. My favorite is like the John Madden commentary, you know? Like John Madden would always like draw on that like little teleprompter thing, and it would just be like the most absurd stuff. It'd be like, all right, so the Cathay army needs to move this way. In the classic, you guys know where I'm going with this. Not going to finish it, but you get it. Like that type of stuff. And that was probably one of my favorite things ever. And why In Control. So I don't know if you guys know In Control, of course, Jeff Robinson. He was a pro StarCraft player and obviously did commentary, and he also streamed on Twitch and was mainly focused on RTS games as well. But he did some casting for like big companies and at these big StarCraft like LAN events and whatnot. And when he would have access to a tool like this, he would draw just the funniest stuff. And that's some of the hardest I've ever laughed, like when watching an event. I was like, this guy is like, in that way, he is like my spirit animal. It was so good. Indrid is U-turn, but for Dawn of War. Okay, got it. So he's like the Dawn of War version. Okay. He only casts the Elite mod nowadays. Okay, so I'll take that out. Can the players see that? No, they can't. This is just for like analysis purpose. So like if you guys used to watch, like there was a time way back when the Sun and Stars were invented, when Party Elite used to actually do like commentaries, like not for tournaments, he would just do replays. And he would do like a lot of like stuff like showing like, all right, so the Cav is going to be sweeping rounds like this and this. And it's actually kind of a useful tool. But I don't know, I've never really used it. Something about like using that would always ruin the immersion for me. I don't know what it is. In Control was a very funny guy, he was. There's like clips of In Control on YouTube, like casting StarCraft events that are just so funny. They're just so incredibly funny. Anyways, I need to get back to the game here. So, Exalted Lord of Change dropping another shot, which appears to go after the Lord and does a little bit of damage, I guess. Nothing terribly substantial. Zinch moving its army ever so slowly, but they certainly need to attack. Yeah, it looks like it's mainly just the chicken juking those shots here. Some of the firepower from Cathay is moving in. It's definitely borderline, like, not obeying the rules here. Like, Zinch needs to move up and, like, be attacking with some units. Now they are, so it's more or less fine, but it could get in that territory. So Cathay is going to be moving up, kind of taking this like hill position here. And the crossbows should be in range to start shooting at the forces of Zinch here in a moment. Having the forest behind you does allow you to hide some units. Look at the Long Riders. It's kind of cool back here, right? They're like hiding these bad boys and avoiding some of the blue fire and other shenanigans that the Changer of Ways can unleash on you. So these are Jade Warrior crossbowmen. They have 160 range. Should be able to trade pretty darn effectively against the pinks. That is for sure. And Harmony is here. So the Harmony is going down. Leadership and reload skill, of course, being provided to the bad boys in the back. That's going to substantially raise their DPS. And a very classic kind of standoff here, as the Zinch army does move ever so slowly. But now Cathay is in, and the crossbows immediately get through the shields. Obviously, those crossbows do some solid damage for sure. And here comes the army of Zinch. I guess they're moving up their Forsaken, looking to get a little bit of a flank engagement here. Now for him to work around the back. And this is like where domination becomes like a little bit more of a pleasant experience, because you don't have to like police the players as much. You can just kind of like cut them loose. Big value though, man. Are those Celestial crossbows? They are. The Celestial Dragon Guard crossbow is doing big damage. So Zinch is going to want to engage soon, or else they're going to keep kind of taking damage here. While Cathay moves up a little bit. And yeah, here comes the pinks. Now going to be shooting into the Jade Warriors, who of course are shielded and pretty armored, so not really going to do that much damage. And where are the Jade Warrior crossbows going to shoot? Probably into the pinks here, I would imagine. On the backside, we do get the Forsaken moving up and around. And crossbows going after the Screamers might get a little bit of damage on their shields. But I think shooting the Forsaken and the pinks is probably going to be your best bet. The pink horrors should get wrecked pretty bad. Do we see Missile Mirror being used? I could have sworn we saw it. The Dragon-Blooded Lord was moving up a little bit. And looked like he wanted to cast it, as the big chicken also makes his way in. Zinch army shooting from a couple angles and pulling back with those pinks there before they take much damage. And that's where Zinch becomes really overpowered, is they can just pull back and regenerate their shields, and they basically get this like infinite healing, which is very oppressive for sure. So the Jade Warriors trying to waddle up. The Jade army in general, got to make sure you keep your formation right. These guys are a little bit like awkwardly stacked on top of each other. These pink horrors doing some work here, and that is not going to be a pendulum. That is a Burning Head. Burning Head is pretty terrible right now, so it actually does like next to no damage. So I'm sure Cathay is more than happy for that to be the case. So Cultist is nearby. He does drop the Burning Head, but they have a lot of armor, so really not going to be terribly substantial against them. We get some crossbow shooting going after the Cultists of Zinch here for Evenstar, and the Forsaken in the back are just getting ready to move through the bushes and try and collapse on this back line, where they can certainly be very impactful and cause a lot of problems. So some of the Jade Warrior units are moving up. Crossbows blasting where they can. Shields are starting to regenerate. So there they go. And the pink horrors, yeah, just getting a free heal for like 1400 HP. It is so crazy strong. And I think a couple nerfs could be in line for it, like maybe nerfing the recharge rate, or like it doesn't block all the damage or something. It's pretty nuts. So the Jade Warriors overextending a little bit, could be surrounded, and now this is kind of what Zinch wants. The Cathay army is slowly being pulled out as the shooting of Zinch seems to be trading pretty darn well. Although ammunition is also being expended, so ammunition is a big variable for the Zinch army. Long Riders engaging the Chaos Furies up in the sky. And man, oh man, those Longbows are going to make quick work of those Chaos Furies of Zinch, really lowering their armor. The Chicken's going to be helping out. And now the other great Long Riders do land on top of the pinks here. And I think there's going to be a summon. Nice summon right there. That's going to be the Ancestral Warriors buffering those Long Riders on the ground. Well, the Jade Warriors get a big surround here. So Hanadins has a really good engagement there. Doesn't quite crumble them. And one unit of the Zinch Furies was taken out, but he probably needs to pull back right now with those great Long Riders. Unless he's gonna start taking a lot more damage. But look at that, he actually lands them on the ground to like drift under, and then he gets up and away. That was a really, really clever play. Now, as far as the Cathay formation goes, there are some Forsaken in the back lines, going to make quick work of these peasants. The archers are shooting in all directions and certainly doing some good work. And up in the sky, we just have a huge Royal Rumble. Chaos Furies of Zinc obviously tanking relatively well. Another Burning Head going down. Not going to do very much damage. And the blob fight here seems to be going pretty good for Cathay, as they are starting to normalize the value. They were down by quite a bit, but that Ancestral Warrior summon really did trap a lot of these Zinc units, and it doesn't seem to be going terribly well for them. While the crossbows do have a nice firing position, not all of them are harmonious right now, but the Celestial Dragon crossbows ripping some huge armor-piercing shots into the Forsaken. Blues trying to move their way around and maybe shut down the elite crossbows here. And the Cathay army able to really win that grind battle. And now Cathay has really normalized the balance of power. As long as Hanadins doesn't throw away his lord battling this giant chicken up in the sky, I think he should be okay. I don't know why it's sitting still. Hopefully for his sake, the Dragon-Blooded Lord isn't stuck. But yeah, it's trying to actually fight that bird, which could be a huge throw right here. Because I feel like Cathay really just kind of took over the game with that engagement. But yeah, if he lets his lord die to a Lord of Change, which is a much better fighter, that could just be a massive throw. Now, Long Marauders going to be diving into the Blue Horrors. Forsaken do get through, but Jade Warriors intercept them with some good armor piercing. They should be able to do the trick. And yeah, now the Dragon-Blooded Lord does land on the ground and is going to be dropping a Halberd summon. I have a strange feeling that his lord might be bugged, it might be stuck, but look at that. He actually lands on the ground, gets a nice little Halberd summon to maybe help out here. Yeah, and the Ancestral Warriors get in there, and they could potentially take down the chicken. The chicken is a little bit trapped. Long Marauders are there. Its shields are getting very, very worn down. Cathay is taking over this game for sure, as the Halberd's fighting from all directions. And the Celestial Dragon crossbows are not slouches in combat. They do have, what, 26, 32, and 33, so they could probably defeat a blue. Here, the Forsaken going to be losing to the Peasant Long Spearmen, most likely, because of the Overwatch support fire they did get. You know, the brain trying to say 10 words at once. Top of that, Great Long Marauders just doing the dreaded humping animation as they try and get back up in the sky. The Cultists of Zinc obviously is not a huge target, but he still does provide Lore of Fire and Kindle Flame. And the Dragon-Blooded Lord is once again trapped up in the sky as it does descend from the heavens to land over here and help out against the Chaos Furies and mainly avoid the big chicken. So Long Marauders able to get some good damage on the big boy, and now they're going to be jumping into the pinks. Still a decent little firing position for the forces of Zinc, but the value for Grand Cathay is really starting to take off here at this point. The bounce power is still kind of even though. The Zinc army ability going down, trying to snipe the Dragon-Blooded Lord, who's really getting popped pretty hard. And the thing is about the Dragon-Blooded Lord, though, losing it at this point isn't that bad because he did already use both of his summons, and Missile Mirror is pretty much useless here at this point. Like, it's not going to be very useful. So it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would suck pretty bad. That is for sure. So Celestial Dragon crossbows on the table, the Jade Warrior Halberds moving after the pinks, and Cathay mainly cleaning up here. I believe the Long Marauders up in the sky should be able to defeat these Summon Furies and give them the business. And more blues using the last of their ammo. They have a lot of ammo on the Celestial Dragon crossbows. Maybe going to break them. Celestial Dragon crossbows do actually have shields, though, which is pretty sweet. And now the crossbow fire shooting over as Evenstar trying to finish off the Lord. Here it comes, the steel chair of the Changer. 400, 380, 117. And the Lord is going to be broken, but it is not defeated. So that means that Cathay isn't going to be suffering the penalty as much. Zinc looking mighty bare bones here as they try and secure their pink horror position. Cathay does have a fair amount of infantry left and some decent shooting. And the fireball from the cultist coming in for the kill on the Dragon-Blooded Lord. And boom! Headshot. Down goes the Dragon-Blooded Lord. It will be paying the iron price, and that beast will no longer be here to plague the old forces of the Changer. Now, Balance Power is in the favor of Zinc, which the reason why is because I believe the Zinc shields obviously regenerate, mitigating a lot of the value that was accrued. And there still is a fair amount of shooting left on the pinks. They have 3 shots here. These ones have 8 shots. And these guys have a lot as well. So Zinc certainly could take this game. Shooting in here, the old Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen doing the best they can. The big chicken with its regenerating shields is probably going to be the biggest nightmare in this matchup. Like, in terms of what's left here on the battlefield. The Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen going to be advancing on the pink horrors who obviously have good ammo. And the crossbows, or halberds, excuse me here, taking a big volley fire. But as the ammunition does dissipate here, that is going to be changing the dynamic of this battle quite a bit. Really nice crossbow volley. It does melt through the shields and does a little bit of HP damage, but he obviously pulls back with that while attacking with the other pink horrors here, trying to keep them from getting finished off by the crossbows. But I think the crossbows will do enough damage that these guys are going to be not terribly combat effective. So there goes the pink horrors, getting melted a little bit, losing a couple models now that their shields are finally down. The big chicken chasing down Jade Warriors where he can, just trying to, take safe engagements. He doesn't want to be fighting near all these crossbows and whatnot, right? So the pink cores of Even Star, I think these ones are maybe moving into melee combat. So it looks like they're moving up to attack the Jade Warriors right here. So I think that is going to be the case. As now he goes in to fight these Jades over here. So yeah, Jade Warriors, 49 models. As long as they're not in formation attack, they might be able to actually put some hurt on these guys. We'll have to see. The pink cores aren't as bad as people think in melee combat. They do have 22, 26, and 28. So like, yeah, they actually, wow, they really crushed those Jade Warriors, jeez. And the chicken's on his way back in. Crossbows, I think maybe looking at shooting at the Exalted Lord of Change here. And the other pink cores are chasing down and attacking those Jade Warriors. The shields are very, very good. Yeah, because like the amount of damage this chicken has taken over the game is probably like 3,000 or 4,000. But in reality, he's only taken about 700 because of the shields regenerating, which is an insanely powerful mechanic. And it's not as bad in domination, but in land battles, it's much more abusable for sure. Zinc, of course, is attacking here by chasing down the Jade Warrior units. And it's just going to be hunting them off the edge of the map, taking their time to reform, while Cathay will be doing more or less the same thing. There still is a cultist here. A couple of the pink cores of Zinc are chasing down this cultist as well. Value slightly favored for the forces of Hanadins, but again, remember the shields are, of course, quite good. You're saying the shields shouldn't be viable in melee, just like in Dune? Yeah. Like melee attacks, yeah. It doesn't, maybe it's only against like ranged attacks or magic or things like that. Yeah, infinite regen is very, very strong. I do think, I have proposed that it should be capped, but you know, I get a lot of flack for that for sure. People definitely give me some trouble. I don't think it's that outrageous of a thing. It's like infinite healing in any form is very, very toxic. So pink cores of Zinc chasing down the old Jades right there. And Cathay is just going to be chilling in the middle. Obviously they can rest and they can chill, but once he finishes off these routing units, which he is, he's going to have to attack here into the middle. And there is a chance that Even Star could be given a game loss if he doesn't properly attack at this point. So I'm going to keep tabs on it, and of course I would go back to a play-by-play. The big chicken here needs to move in, and the pink cores need to attack. Like, he needs to attack somewhere, so I wish I had like a chat box with the players, but the chat box is gone. And there was a time where I could actually like warn them and whatnot, but there are some peasant long spearmen here, and he's going to be moving over to attack those guys as well. I think he's out of Winds of Magic, but this is definitely borderline, like very borderline. He's moving in, so he does have the pink cores moving across here. These ones will be moving in to attack on the other side as well. Or maybe just waiting. They have a little bit of ammo. So I suppose you just move in with the other pink cores here. But yeah, you better tread lightly though, for sure. He needs to consistently attack here. Zinc is always the one that borderline breaks the rules because of the shield thing. Players are trying to, you know, maximize the effectiveness of their shields. It's how you play in campaign. It's normal. It's like how the mechanic is designed. But yeah, it's really, really, really tricky for sure. Professor Pone saying campaign players hate the idea of things getting balanced around multiplayer. Yeah, it's like, but even still, Zinc shields are OP in campaign, and so are Iron Blasters, and so are Gorgers, right? Like, I mean, I guess people who mainly focus on campaign want just a more wild, unbalanced experience because it's kind of like fun. It's like the Wild West. I get that. I completely get that. But you know, I would opt for balance. I think it's just a better thing. So here comes the Jade Warriors looking to do battle with these guys while the big chicken moves in, and yeah, I mean these guys are moving to shoot a little bit. These ones are trying to shoot too. It's definitely a little bit like tricky. Like he's borderline not attacking, but now that he's got like shooting here, he is. So that counts. And yeah, I guess he had ammo, so he's just waiting for everything to kind of pile in there. Exalted Lord of Change, just getting the chicken drumsticks, dropping them wherever it can. The Jade Warrior Halberd's obviously trying to get on the Lord of Change. I think sending out the Jade Warriors wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea at this point, just to try and split them up. But I think at that point, Cathay is going to withdraw from the game. Yes. So we'll take a look at everything. It's hard. I can't see everything on the map at once, but that was definitely very borderline in terms of the attacking rules. And that's partially why domination is a game mode, you know, potentially of the future, right? Is because it's really hard to police that. It's really, really hard. Like, it's so easy to walk the edge of the rules, but not quite do it. Not quite do it, right? All right, so one sec, guys. I'll be right back. I'm just going to review the replay real quick, and I'll let you guys know. So, 1 second. Just need to message the players, and I'll be back in a minute. Just going to review that and just double check. But, I mean, it was borderline, but it was close for sure. It was close. So, just give me a second. It's easier if I can watch the replay back. All right, we're back. So I managed to review the replay. Sorry about the jump scare. So yeah, there was definitely quite a few like situations that were, you know, a borderline if not breaking the rules. So we're gonna actually just replay the match because you know you got to be really careful with that. And that's the tricky thing, but you know, I consulted several people who worked on the rules and I looked at it myself and I agree that there was, even while I was casting it, it's really hard to watch these games and cast them and you know, catch rule breaks at the same time because I'm more focused on the commentary. But yeah, watching it back, there was definitely some situations where Zinch was not attacking at all. They were just like running away to charge their shields. And there was not a single unit that was like attacking on the battlefield. There was many, many situations like that. So, yep. All right, so Even Star is back. We're going to be on the same map. Players can do picks and bans again. So we're going to be not super heavy-handed right now because we're setting a precedent here. But if we do run into such situations again, there's going to be a heavier punishment. Like if we run into that happening again from the same player, like we would just give like a game loss because there was just too many egregious points where Zinch wasn't attacking throughout the course of the game. They're all like really small, like borderline, but like that adds up, and you got to make a judgment on that. So the good thing for you guys is you get more games, which is great. All right, so Hanadins will rejoin here. Let me go ahead and invite him and do this. Perfect and perfect. And they can do their picks and bans again and everything like that too. So that's more or less the game plan. Alrighty, so map is set. We're just gonna hang tight while the players do their business, and we will get going with the next match soon. So shouldn't Zinch just lose? Well, it depends. That's kind of up to the tournament admin. But right now we're here's how that would have worked, okay? So typically what I do, unless it's like a repeat case, is in that case, Even Star broke the attacking rule, right? So they can play the game out, and if Cathay had won, they would have just gotten the win. But if Zinch won, but they broke the rules, he does not get a win, and they have to replay the match. It's a less of a feel bad experience for the player who's in Even Star's position, because there are many rule breaks that have happened that are kind of like accidental, or you don't quite like it's really on the line, and like in the heat of a moment it can kind of happen. So I don't like to just give a hard game loss right away. But if there are repeat offenders, or depending on the nature of the tournament, if it's like a really high stakes tournament, for example, you might just give them like a game loss or something like that. It's up to the admin for sure. Bad news for me, no lunch, dude. I'm so hungry. No, I was watching the replay. I was like muted, like super focused in on that. So I'm letting them do new picks and bans also if they want to. So I think that'll kind of freshen up the matchup a little bit. They could end up in the same thing, but they're basically just getting a fresh slate here, and Hanadins gets the advantage of not losing that game. And if Even Star has a similar attack break, he's just going to get a hard game loss next time in the same series, right? Now review the Zinch shields. Oh my god. The Zinch shields are so obnoxious. Oh no, yeah, Even Star is aware of the attacking rules. He's a tournament veteran for sure. But like again, it can sometimes be, I find that people who play Zinch a lot are more keen to break the rules because they're trying to abuse the barrier thing. Yeah. So it's like a tricky thing. But there was a lot of points where he wasn't attacking. Like in the beginning of the battle, there was a moment where his army wasn't moving at all, and his chicken was just harassing with magic and cycle charging. You can't do that. You have to be attacking with other things. And this is why domination, if Creative Assembly fixes domination mode a little bit, makes it slightly better, it's going to be the better format. I would say right now it's kind of like contested down the middle, but domination is like really the hope for the future for like actual good competitive, because we don't need to police any of that stuff. Like if you're not attacking, okay, like if that were domination, Cathay would have just been holding the objectives and winning, you know? So it wouldn't matter that Zinch is recharging their shields. And that's also better for the Zinch player, because then they can use the mechanics as they were designed without having to like worry about obeying attacking rule and things like that. I want CA to tell us the health regen of Zinch shields at the end of battle. Yeah, it's probably like 10,000 honestly across the entire army, if not more. Yeah, Zinch totally would bend the rules. Absolutely, absolutely. They should give barrier to Noblars too. They should. So guys, we have a Kislev mirror match for this next one. This is, every single unit has shooting here basically, so this is a matchup in which they will be obeying the attacking rule. Yeah, there's things about land battles I like more, and then there's things about domination that I like more. Because my least favorite thing is having to officiate on rules during tournaments. I hate it so much. Because like I think obviously in most competitive environments you should have someone doing the officiating and someone doing casting, and like doing both is really stressful. Because like many of these people are my friends, and I don't like being put in a situation where I have to like do that. It's like it's not fun. It's not fun. All right, cool. We're just about ready. It's going to be a Kissel of Mirror match. I would imagine Little Groms, War Sleds, Patriarchs, Bears could be a little bit crazy. Why not putting just one holding field in the middle for land battles? I'm sure it was an idea that was juggled. I mean, I don't have any control over that, so. I don't have any control over that. Who has the better bear sleds? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. No more games. No more games. And we are here with game 4. All over again. You guys get more battles. It's going to be great. Yeah, somebody needs to be given EMP from StarCraft. Like, the ghosts. They should add ghosts to the Empire who can use EMP to take down the Zinc shields. That would be so funny, dude. Oh my god. What's my short opinion on the campaign? It's fun the first couple times, and it kind of loses its luster after that, because my least favorite thing is like completing the Realm of Chaos and then having my Lord have to like sit in a city for like 3 or 4 turns. And I also don't like sending away my Lord while like demon portals are just opening all over my lands. Like in the early game, it's kind of annoying. Like I enjoyed the campaign a lot the first time I played it. I thought it was very epic and very challenging, but kind of got sick of it after that. And that's what Mortal Empires does better, is it has the more sandbox experience. Okay, so we had a desync, which normally happens. So I'm just gonna take screenshots. Oh, it's a land battle tournament. I just need one. Okay. So I have their exact armies. So we can reset. Okay, copy. And perfect. And send here. Cool. And there you go. Alrighty. So they'll be back in a second. We'll get loaded in, and they should be able to get the same armies. I have a screenshot, so if they try and change anything, I'll know. Eddie, is each person? I'm sorry, I thought this was America. Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate the donation, man. EMP, ignore shields, yeah. How come players that have played so many tournaments have to be reminded about rules like these? It's hard to say. It's a lot of it's like a win at all cost type thing, There is money on the line. It's not like a whole lot, but, Yeah, I mean, and like that's just competitive gaming in general. Like, you see that in a lot of games. Like any game that has the room to like cheat or like barely follow the rules that are set in place, although most games don't have that. Like people will always find a way to like just barely do that to get the win. It's just how competitive gaming can be in general. Like I can't tell you how many times I played at competitive 40K tournaments, because I play 40K competitively. I used to, which of course competitive 40K is like not balanced at all really, but it's still a really, really fun experience. And I can't tell you how many times I've caught people cheating against me. And then you'll be like, oh, are you sure you can do that? I'll be like, oh yeah, sorry, I messed that up. Or like, yeah, and like they'll nudge a model like an inch forward or something to get a little bit of like space on you. Okay, sorry, I was on the wrong map. Waste of corn. And yeah, it's shocking how much people cheat in tabletop games, Even in Magic the Gathering, I've caught. I remember playing in a Magic tournament, and I got to the finals of this tournament. This was like, oh man, when was this? This would have been 2011. And the gentleman that I was playing against, he was pile shuffling, and he kept putting the same card on the top of the pile. And then he knew I was going to cut his deck, so then he like moved it to the middle of the deck to increase his likelihood of getting that card. And yeah, like it's crazy. It's crazy what you run into. Yeah, it's like soccer players feigning injuries. Oh my god, I hate that. I hate that. Dudes, I played soccer or football for many of you in high school. And I played in college too. I played club soccer or club football, whatever. And man, the whole injury faking thing just drives me nuts. It literally makes my blood boil. When I see that on TV, I get so upset. Yeah, Jason, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's definitely. I don't think Evenstar was intentionally breaking the rules. It just kind of can. It happens easier with Zinc, but we have to enforce the rules, obviously. Oh my god, I cannot stand faking injuries in soccer. It literally is just the most infuriating thing. Oh my god. I had that, and when I played high school soccer, it didn't happen much. But when I started playing in college, man, oh man, you saw that a lot more. Dude, it's the worst. There's a good parody video of someone doing the typical Warhammer tabletop types of cheaters. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Soccer players lying down with the leg angled at 90 degrees to the left when the offender gets a red card and the leg magically heals. I know. It's so dumb, dude. It's so dumb. The injury faking is terrible, but there's no incentive not to do it. Exactly. Yeah. To be fair, there are not a huge amount of people who break rules in Total War Warhammer, and the ones that do have done it more often in many tournaments. That's definitely true, Shetland. There's a lot of repeat offenders in terms of the rules. Like, most of the people who do break the rules are repeat offenders. It's just kind of their playstyle is like that, you know, so... You hear about the guy who won a Magic tournament? No, I didn't. That's pretty crazy. All right, so obviously there's a high ground position up here. So this map isn't the best, but it is what it is. And last game, Evenstar had the better position on the hill, and now it's switched. So I guess this is his punishment for the rule break. He gets the low ground. Yeah, on the Haggard map here. So taking a look here at the army of Hanadins. Kind of got like the Polish color scheme here, the red and white. Zargard, Streltsy, and a bunch of Kossars with a couple Kosovo dervishes, chariots, and no Patriarch, though. Very interesting. Is there a Patriarch? Is that an Ice Witch? No, there's a Patriarch. Okay. I was going to be really shocked. Ice Witch does have the Crystal Sanctuary, and that's it. Really interesting choice. Now, looking at the army of Evenstar, he's got a whole front battle line of Kossars with Streltsy. Very similar infantry compositions, although he does have Katarine on a bear as well as a Patriarch on a bear. And light war sleds. I think I like the army of Evenstar a little bit better. But we will see how it goes. Also, something else I forgot to mention in the analysis of this Kislev matchup is we do have Little Grom here. So Little Grom, of course, is going to be the big thunder. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Grom in Polish means thunder. And I would imagine that's similar in many other Slavic languages. Yeah, Grom. Grom is such a cool word. Oh, Grom. Look at this thing. These badass bears. Like, why would they do that to the bears? Like, at least let them see out of their helmets. Like, they gave the bears... is there any reason to that? Look, they gave the bears, like, chaos helmets, where they, like, can't see out of the eyes. Yeah, I don't really know how that works, but, you know, we don't ask questions here. Oh my god, the bots are back. They're back. And, yeah, Little Grom's certainly going to be attacking, shooting from downtown, and it's going to be a Royal Rumble, all right. A very, very defensive build here. Ice Witch... Not going to be as much of a powerful fighter as Katarine. Katarine does have Heart of Winter and Frostfang and Ice Shards and all those nice abilities. And, yep, I think both players are chilling. They're about ready. So the battle will soon be underway. As Tsarina Katarine, as well as the Patriarch, hide in the bushes. Little Grom going to be ripping some big shots, so it certainly will behoove the forces of Evenstar to move up so he doesn't get blasted. Grom is thunder in Serbian as well, says Hussar. Okay. Padding for their ears, maybe, but it's for their eyes. It's like blinders for horses. Okay. It's for eye protection. Makes sense. So you guys would probably know more about that than me. Keeps the bears from getting scared? Yeah. You think they need that, though? I don't know. I guess they're still... You know, humans have been known to scare off bears and things like that, right? So, yeah, it can happen. The Lord of the Rings ram is Grond. Yeah, Grond. Grond is like a meme in the Lord of the Rings community, which is really, really funny. So Little Grom is moving up. Going to be ripping some shots. Evenstar is waddling his army forward very, very slowly. I don't know if he's doing it out of spite. But yeah, I guess he's not in any rush. And the Little Grom of Hanadins here, going to be taking a position up here on this hill, most likely shooting down. Going after the Patriarch, Tsarina. They're both pretty good choices. Yeah, Tsarina on the bear, you could definitely get some good shots. If, you know, Evenstar slips up for a second and you get popped by those shots, that could be very, very good. Yeah, the eye thing on the bear, they have like some like, yeah, they have little holes. I don't know. I feel like the bear would probably appreciate being able to see better. But war horses have similar things covering their eyes. Okay, got that. Makes sense. recycled Gore Beast helmets. They just feel a little bit chaos to me, is what I'm saying. So the first bombardment's going to be going down. And yeah, nice shot right there into the armored Kossars with Grey Opens. Takes out 9 models. You want to be shooting the War Sleds, I think, but they can juke very, very effectively. The dreaded War Sled duel. Oh, yes. The War Sleds will do battle once more in the deep. So light War Sleds are pulling back at this point. Nice cannonball there from Little Grom. Does nail that War Sled right in the old face. Value is up for Hanadins. The overall fighting capacity of the army of Void is a little bit stronger, I think. But the Little Grom is the equalizer. If that thing can get, you know, enough value and at least pay for itself, that is what's going to be the equalizer here in this situation. So light War Sled's pulling back, a little bit of skirmishing going down. Kislev just kind of chilling up here on the old high ground. Where's Little Grom going to be shooting now? We got to watch the next cannon shot. I think it's a little bit obstructed, actually. There it goes. Nope, it's able to hit. And the shot going downtown, and ooh, the cannonball actually did roll into the light War Sleds. It kind of hit the ground and then rolled into them. That was kind of an interesting look at that there. Light War Sleds having the Duel of Fates. I think they're all light. Yeah, so light War Sleds and light War Sleds, yes. So some of you may be wondering why there's more than 2 light War Sleds. I only limit light War Sleds in domination mode. In land battles, they have a limit of 3. So it is totally fine to do that. So here they come. The light War Sleds moving up. Streltsy don't really have the best line of sight. Maybe should park them in this open space to help screen here a little bit. Little Grom, though, certainly taking some names here, as I think it's probably going to be shooting at this light War Sled on the flank right now. I wonder what the Crystal Sanctuary is really going to be used for. I think what will happen is a light War Sled will be sent into a blob fight, and then Crystal Sanctuary will be used on it. Evenstar does have better magic for sure, I think. The Heart of Winter could be very impactful depending on the circumstances. And now we get some Kosovo Dervishes, some hiding in the trees as well, maybe looking to move out there and fight, while these War Sleds continue to just roll rumble with one another, and the shooting is now underway. Zargard, I think, are on both sides. No, we only have Zargard here for Hanadins. So the Zargard are going to be moving down to engage, while the light War Sleds now are going to be collapsed on by the Kosovo Dervishes. Now, light War Sleds are very durable. They have 70 armor, not going to take much damage. The Patriarch and the Ice Witch moving over there to do some battle with the War Sleds. And Evenstar does slightly overextend with his War Sleds here and takes a huge shot in the face from the Streltsy. Man, oh man, that's going to hurt. If they keep shooting these War Sleds like point blank like this, yeah, the leadership immediately tanks on those War Sleds as they get popped by the Streltsy. And Little Grom actually has pretty good melee prowess as well. But a big Heart of Winter in the back. Heart of Winter is going to be nailing the armored Kossars. It hits the Kosovo Dervishes. Does not hit the Streltsy here. But now Frostfang is going down from Katarine. Nice cast there by Evenstar. Really, really good damage right there. So Evenstar really getting the magic advantage, but we will see how the chariot advantage goes. Now, Little Grom still has a fair amount of ammo. Zargard have engaged against Kossars. Should have a pretty winning fight there unless the War Sleds decide to get a little bit busy. And Heart of Winter basically deletes an armored Kossar unit. But the Streltsy getting some good shots, and Katarine's actually kind of low. Katarine's in danger. Yeah, I believe the Patriarch plus he summoned Snow Leopard are going after Katarine, and they appear to be doing some really good damage. If Katarine gets caught in here and actually taken out by those units, that could be a huge turning point here for Hanadins. Now, more and more Streltsy in the back, going to be getting run down by the light War Sleds. But they have good armor piercing themselves. And Little Grom has the bears on the front that could turn and potentially kill some of the light War Sled models. As far as the rest of the fighting goes, some of the light War Sleds of Hanadins do get on top of the Streltsy, which are one of the biggest things you want to shut down. Zargard dominating pretty heavily in combat, really showing the armored Kossars with great weapons who's boss, and certainly taking no prisoners in the process. Armored Kossars shooting into the basic Kossars here, more and more pushing them back. It seems like Hanadins is slightly taking over the game, although he might lose his Ice Witch here. Katarine certainly striking back for vengeance, as the Ice Witch of Hanadins is officially broken. Crystal Sanctuary was used on something here. It was used on what appears to be the armored Kossars. I really do not like the Crystal Sanctuary pick. I've seen that twice in the past couple days. I think it was Hanadins who did that in Domination as well, and it just doesn't seem very good. Doesn't seem very good. And Evenstar here does a good job of picking off the Ice Witch. She's now shattered and taken down. But in terms of the overall state of the battle, I would say that the red and white Kislev army is doing quite a bit better. They're able to take down the Kossars here. The chariots are still running rampant. Probably going to be able to shut down these Streltsy. Zargard are still on the field, and the Patriarch's still going. Still going for sure. But, I mean, Katarine and the Patriarch could really carry this game. Little Grom's a little bit trapped here. It's doing some sort of a dance, a tribal dance to try and escape the Patriarch and Katarine. And I think Evenstar might have a decent chance of getting back in the game by just using his character advantage. We'll have to see. So Light War Sleds still moving back in. Over here, the Bears Chariots doing a great job of shutting down the Streltsy. 100% one of the big things you need to shut down here. So the light war sleds really need to make sure they do that. Now back up here, Little Grom being taken to task by these two characters. It looks like we do have some armored Kossars shooting into Katarine, but on the bear she does have 75 armor. The bear provides armor. And Little Grom is trying to fight in melee, not so great effect, and losing Little Grom here could be the great equalizer for sure. So now Little Grom is unbreakable. We do have some armored Kossar shooting, but we need some Streltsy, you know, for big shooting to take down this position. And for Evenstar, the big recipe for success here is to just take down Little Grom. If Evenstar takes down Little Grom and is able to get the Patriarch healing, the light war sleds, and all the different things like that, I think he's going to be in a position to really run away with this game here. So light war sleds, Tors battle him, nice usage there. Really high value fight. Evenstar doing a great job with that. And down here, the armored Kossars of Hanadin trying to hunt down those Streltsy, but once again, Even does a great job securing that back position, pushing off the war sleds. And now the value's pretty much dead even, but you have to remember that Evenstar has healing on his side. I guess so too does Hanadin's, but I don't think there's anything quite as valuable to get. And getting the Little Grom there is a super sweet pick. I mean, that Little Grom had, how much ammo left? Let's go ahead and check. I love how they're just like dragging it off the battlefield. Oh, Little Grom's down. It only got 700 value. So that was definitely one of the weaker links here. Now, Evenstar's Chariot's running about. The thing is, Katarine's probably saving for another Heart of Winter, I would imagine. I think there's going to be a huge Heart of Winter. And Evenstar probably will be able to punish the blob of Zargard. And I think Hanadin knows this, and he withdraws. GG, well played. So, a clean game, a solid game. Dynamic armies. Little Grom versus, you know, more of a magical focused force. The Heart of Winter was quite good. Katarine was an MVP. Great Frostfangs, great usage there. And overall, I did like this army, but I really think we saw Hanadin's get to the finals of domination, or at least in the top 4, and that we saw the same thing, the Crystal Sanctuary, which just felt so useless. Like, I feel like a Death Frost would have been able to maybe finish something, or like a slow ability, something like that. So in the end, Evenstar will indeed be winning 3-1, and he is going to be moving up to the number 2 spot on our website leaderboard. So I will tell him, GG, well played, update leaderboard. So that is a 3-1 victory. That one was certainly earned. And now we can jump on over to the old website. We'll make it official on the bracket. So here it is. Evenstar with the W. And now let us take a look at the brackets on the website and see where he is. Professor Pone says, see, I lost to the winner. It makes a lot of sense. It does. So there you have it. Looking at the leaderboard on the old site, Voidlaw's still our number 1 player, but just by 1 game. You can see the win percentage and all this business. If Evenstar wins one more, or he'll need to win 2 to tie break it. So he just needs a couple more wins over Voidlaw's here. Hanadin's, though, with a very impressive performance, certainly doing ODM very proud, is now number 4 ranked on the leaderboard with a 7-2. But of course, the biggest thing is winning tournaments. So in order to get into the top 3, it looks like at this point you are going to need to win tournaments, which is certainly very possible. The dreaded Professor Pone, of course, here in chat, sitting at 3-1. Very nice performance today. And yeah, pretty cool stuff. So that is our leaderboard. This is today's land battle tournament. Taking a look at the breakdown one last time, we can see a 3-1 victory for Evenstar in the old land battle tournament. So we'll be having another tournament midweek. Domination land battle, we'll kind of figure it out. But there'll be some fun stuff going on. If you guys did enjoy the tournament today, do drop a like. It helps get more people involved in the old multiplayer community, which is always good. And yeah, it's great. Today was really fun too. We had some newcomers. We had Rhineless make it to the top 4 and with some very solid victories. And yeah, and the dreaded Professor Pone as well. A lot of folks who made it to the top 4 for some of the first times, which was great. So once again, I want to thank you guys for joining. Thank you all for the support. It was a lot of fun. I'll be back with more tournaments this next week. Really excited for the balance patch to come out. I think that's going to make the game a lot better. And of course, some new maps in domination mode. So that's going to be great. It's going to be great. All right. Take care of yourselves, my friends. I'm going to go feast, hang out with the smoking hot wife, and we'll see you guys very soon. Appreciate you all. And that is it. Hanadin's in chat saying, thanks, Turin, for hosting and streaming the tourney. Well done to Evenstar for winning it. Great sportsmanship all around. I love it. All right. Take care, my friends, and we'll see you on the other side.